Hello and welcome to the first Patreon exclusive Boingo video. How you doing? It's time to blast into Blazar. Blazar? Blazar. Blazar, I think it is. I have no idea. We didn't hear it in the show. So, yeah, I'm gonna talk about some Ultraman, baby. So, real quick, I've seen a couple episodes of Geed and Tiga. Just a few of them. So I know I like Ultraman a little bit. I know enough that I go like, I want to watch some more. So realistically, this season will probably be the first complete season of Ultraman I watch. You know, unless I just decide to binge Tiga and Geed, which I don't. With the way I've been watching it, might not happen. But hey, we open in media fucking res kaiju attack. Holy shit, this is fun. As we're kind of just, we get the full Predator, we get the whole like aliens, colonial marines, just the unit in the ship ready, moving in and out of the attack. I love how the world, how being opening up in media res like this just makes you immediately understand the world building. Okay, so there's a unit to fight kaiju attacks. Okay, so they have regular kaiju attacks that they need specialized units and specialized tactics to take down. This has been going on for a couple years because they do say he's been doing this for a few years later on in the episode. So that means that they are fundamentally successful in taking down the kaiju, and only now are they starting to need the Ultraman to come in, save their behinds, so to speak. And that just adds so much layers to the world that I'm seeing. It's just like, okay, cool. I immediately get a vibe for how it's going on. It's like a very hopeful Pacific Rim, you know? But yeah, the unit seems like a big fun group of army dudes. They rag on each other. They do all that kind of stuff. And the attacks aren't hitting the giant crab monster. The planes are flying overhead. They aren't making a dent in them, and eventually they're able to take the special shots against the giant crab monster, which is Blazinga, I think it is. That is way too close to the fucking phrase from Big Bang Theory. Way too close for comfort. But they fire off the special bazookas. Didn't fucking work, and the building's about to fall on our main guy when a toy pops in on his arm and drags his other hand to force him into transforming. Is it Henshin when it's Ultraman, or is it something else? Because it's a very specific kind of transformation when they turn into Ultraman. He turns into an Ultraman. Big fun dude, looks great. I love the kind of like playing with duality with him of like, oh, he's hiding half his face, half his body is black and white, half of it's color, playing with all that kind of stuff. And the fight, fun fight, dude. They do some high kicks, they do some tiger knees, they do some wrestling, they go the whole 9 yards with the fight. It's a lot more choreography than I saw in Geed and Tiga. I've made comment on those shows before, how I realized, oh, the Ultraman fights are less choreographed than Kamen Rider, which is what I'm more used to, and are much more of like wrestling bouts. It feels very professional wrestling. This felt more like choreographed professional wrestling. If Geed and Tiga were like bog standard professional wrestling, this felt more like a John Moxley Kenny Omega match with a lot more like intent with the moves and everything, which I appreciate as a fan of choreography. Great back and forth between the both of them. Blazar eventually gets knocked down. His little fucking titty ring starts beeping, and a mysterious girl shoots a third bazooka at the kaiju. Kaiju's distracted for a bit. Ultraman gets a second win. He goes to town, rips off the bioweapons, and now the monster's just bleeding. And it's a little sad at that moment. It's just like, oh, this giant creature doesn't know what's happening. Blazar then summons a giant light spear and throws it at the guy, which I'm assuming is going to be his like little beam attack thingamajig. The way he does it, which is cool. It looks like a vibe. It looks like a neat thing. The day is saved. All of his men are safe. They're all able to get out of here. But boy, is that man worried and concerned about being turned into an Ultraman. This was a great first episode. I absolutely loved it. It immediately hooked me. I am all in on this Ultraman. I did watch both the dub and the sub. Both of them were good. Both were really good. Something interesting I noticed just with the intentionality of the actor. In the original language, Japanese language, the guy felt more like the main character, the captain, felt more what's the best way to put it? He felt more like Optimus Prime-y. He felt more Duke. It felt very much more of like I am a leader character in control. With Johnny Young Bosch playing him in English, it felt a little bit more cocksure. It felt a little bit more like I wouldn't say up his own ass, just more of like he's confident and he's willing to go an extra length to get the job done. Like he's very much more like, I wouldn't say renegade. You get what I'm saying? Like he's not as cool, calm, and collected. There's an edge to him. And that's not the reason why I'm probably going to be watching the dub. I'm going to be watching the dub because I did enjoy it. It was well done, well produced, and I did like how they kind of aimed for the mouth flaps, but they didn't adhere to them, which I just vibed with. It's just like, okay, I get what you're doing. You're aiming for like beats in the sentence, but you're not trying to make it look like they're speaking English, which is fine. I know it's a dub. It's good. It's good. I like that. I'm going to be watching them mainly because it just seems like it's going to be one of the easier ways to watch it just for myself. But I loved it being set in night the entire time. It gave it a great sheen to everything. I loved just how Ultraman played with light. Excuse me. In the night setting, it worked really good. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked the unit. The unit was a fun little extra. We didn't get to see much of the characterization of the other soldiers, but just as these are people all working to try and save the day, it gave a great feel without being like, because I've seen, there's some goofy ass units in Ultraman. This felt like a legit full-on paramilitary group, and I appreciated that. It felt very grounded in that instance, you know what I mean? And the skydiving scene. Oh my god, skydiving bit was great, wonderful. Just immediately eye-wrenching. It's immediately like, oh man, oh, this is cool. Something neat. I did appreciate how like the transformation was treated. Because the guy just gets like this fucking thing on his arm. He's like, what the fuck is this? And it immediately starts pulling him to do shit against his will. And in that way, it kind of felt eldritch in a way. It kind of felt otherworldly. It kind of felt like, it treated Ultraman like a weirdo alien eldritch abomination, which is neat. Not that I think that that's the take Ultraman should always be, and again, I haven't seen Shin Ultraman. I feel like that might be the take there. But no, it was really cool to see just kind of like it being treated as this very weird fucking thing. And I love the whole tactical feel of everything. Of just like everyone is trying to like defeat the monster effectively, easily, and safely, and they're all going like, no, we're working together. Teamwork, tactics, shoot this down. Can you do this for me? Yeah, I can. Cool. And everybody's just like working together, and no one's upset at anything. There's no like tension of that. It's just more of like the tension of this is a dangerous situation and we gotta save the day. But hey, I loved what I saw. I cannot wait to see more. So till next time, keep blasting off. Yeah, I'm making up a different outro for this, guy. See you next week. Hello, it's time for another episode of Blast Into Blazar. I hope you're ready for it. And so far, it's been 2 for 2 for Ultraman Blazar. This episode starts with our captain being assigned to a brand new unit. He is the leader of it. He's in control. They trust him that much. He's that good of a fucking kaiju hunting man. He's in charge. He can't choose the team. The boss man says, like, hey, I already did it, the hard work for you, all that kind of stuff. The guy doesn't seem that upset, because I think they're trying to show that our main character is just a very flexible kind of guy. He just really go with the flow. He's able to work within the constraints that he's in, and is able to accomplish as much as he's a really just good dude at his job. So we get a bunch of fun moments with him meeting his new team. We run into the woman who fired the special missile last episode. She seems absolutely fun. A great little like spitfire of a character. Spunky points out that they aimed the missiles wrong. How you're supposed to like aim at the thing's nose and not at the chest. And says the information was wrong, and the MC guy isn't like, oh no, our information was good. It's like, oh yeah, there might have been some like problems with the chain of information, all that kind of stuff. How do you get your information and just like all this kind of stuff? And she goes, oh, I have my own information stream. You know, she seems like a really interesting foil to our main character's like very calm nature, very focused perspective. He's not stoic and focused isn't the right focus is the right word, but it's not like, okay, if you've ever seen Hot Fuzz, it's not the dude from Hot Fuzz. It is a focused, calm individual. He knows his capabilities, he knows how to formulate a plan, but having this very spunky spitfire character to counteract that, not necessarily to get him to loosen up. He's already loose enough. It's just more of like the plan versus spontaneity. That's kind of the big difference. I also really love the beginning of their character relationship, because they immediately start arguing like siblings, bickering. Oh, who's going to pay the bill at the restaurant? It's just like, oh, nope, I got it. No, I got it. And they do it. And immediately, it's just like, oh, I like these two people as like a unit. Not, you know, not in a shippy way, but just more of like a, oh, these two people. The next dude is the guy who tried to keep the kaiju the last episode in where they could like deal with it and take care of it, and not just run away and hope the planes would take care of it. Like, he was like trying to get everything situated for the special unit people. And like main character guys immediately was like, yo, did a good job, super thankful, thank you for all that. Hey, do you want to join up with this? And he's like, yo, yeah, dude, you are like a legend amongst us. Hell yeah, I'm working with you. There's a fun, goofy moment where they're like trying to find a pen. I like these moments because it just feels very human. It's just very like real. It's something that would happen in real life, but it also just shows like this is the main character is a guy who can go with the flow, go with the punches. Like, oh, we don't have a pen. He's not rolling his eyes and being frustrated as this is like, all right, cool, let's find a pen, you know. However, this new guy, this comms guy, which is what I think he's probably going to be really like set up to be, like communications. He seems like a very awkward man. Like, he's like a good nervous energy to foil against the main character. Remember, our main character is focused, flexible. He makes plans, but he can always change the plans on a dime. He's not overly stoic. He's not like, he's very much, that's what he is. He's grass. Like, think of like a big stoic strongman kind of guy. It's a tree, right? It's a tree, it's a mountain, it's something strong and sturdy, and you can't just hit it, right? This man is grass. It's there, it's rooted in place, it knows what it's doing, but it can move with the wind, it can flow. That's the vibe. And this guy is a little bundle of nerves going up against the MC, which is an interesting like dichotomy. It's like, I don't want to say he's like going to be neurotic about it, but he's going to be a little bit more like, are you sure that's the plan, Captain? And it's like, yeah, they figure that kind of stuff out. Next up, we have a karate girl. She seems to be excited. to be working with the MC. Again, seems like they're really hammering home that this guy is a legend in the crew, legend in like the organization, that like this is him getting his big moment to shine, and these people are the best of the best to come with them, you know what I mean? You know, really excited, all that kind of stuff. She's overall just seems like a fun character. I don't want to say we didn't get super ton about her. She's excited to be there. She's excited to work. She's excited to do all this kind of stuff. She's a little bit clumsy. She accidentally stabs our main character, but I don't think being clumsy is going to be like her major character trait. They try and get the last guy, but he isn't at his old place job. And there is this like, it's again kind of like, I don't want to say it's a commentary on Japanese bureaucracy, but it is sort of, oh, it's another point of like, oh, these guys don't have the most up-to-date information because the books, the papers said he would be there and it wasn't. And it's like, it's just going to be a running theme. It's just like information and this knowledge. It's just going to be like an interesting theme that the show's going to be tackling. But there's a fun gag. Like, these moments have like a bunch of fun gags, and it's not necessarily like anybody is like mean mugging the camera or anything. It's just, and no one's like the joke. It's just like genuine, like, this is something that would happen in the real world, and it's just funny. Where's a pen? You try to write something on someone's back, and then you accidentally stab them. People bicker about the restaurant bill. You try to have a conversation in a loud place, and it's very difficult. I like these kind of gags because it feels very real. You know, it's very fun, very real kind of comedy. Meanwhile, all this stuff has been going on. We have a big fun fish kaiju just bubbling in the background. Comes to a head. He emerges out of the ocean. They emerge out of the ocean. You know what? It is an anglerfish, and most anglerfishes that have like the little biddly boop are women. So this female. Let's go with she/her. So she emerges from the ocean. The assembled crew do some information grabbing, some research, all this kind of stuff, so they can go out and fight the best they can. They go. And I wouldn't say it goes great, but it doesn't go, like, horribly. And eventually, they find an old fisherman is in danger. And hey, guess what? Someone's in danger that's not who would be a victim. Because, like, the people that are there to try and fight the kaiju are there, like, they're there to actually purposefully try and fight it. They know what they're doing. The fisherman's in danger. So, Blazar comes out. They have a big fun fight. Again, just, it's fun. It's big, giant creatures bashing each other up. The fish kaiju tries to run away, and Blazar's like, nah, bitch. Turns the final attack into a fishing pole and fishes her back up and destroys her. It's fun. It's a big, funny visual. It's neat. And the episode ends with the reveal that the fifth guy we didn't meet earlier was actually already at the place that they're headquartered, and he was working on a fucking mech suit, just a mecha, and it's a fucking like Robo Godzilla looking dude. It's a giant like kaiju, Robo Kaiju. That's cool. I wonder how often that occurs in Ultraman, of like, there's a secondary like giant mecha, the human's pilot. I don't know. Just from my brief, very outsider understanding of Ultraman, it hasn't really happened. But this is cool. I love the design because we've been seeing the toy in one of the commercials in the airings we've been watching. But it looks really cool. I really enjoy it. Can't wait to see what happens. But there's a tension with it as well, because the head of the organization says like, hey, we need to use this thing to take care of a kaiju before Ultraman. And I think it's an interesting tension, because it's just like, oh, what's do they not trust Ultraman? Do they think Ultraman has ulterior motives? Does Ultraman have ulterior motives? Because Ultraman seems almost non-communicative. Like he's like he just doesn't speak, and I think that whole thing I think is interesting. I really enjoyed this episode. I loved it. I really like kind of like getting into the sci-fi procedural environment we're in. I love all the characters. They don't seem fully well rounded yet, but they do seem like it's a good foundation to round them out later. That's gonna be cool. And the initial mistrust of Blazar, that's like an interesting like little wrinkle there. And like everybody's not just immediately like, oh yeah, no, this dude's helping us, he's a superhero. It's just like, no, this guy's also a kaiju, he's just helping us. We don't know what the ultimate thing with that is. And it's interesting. And it also like explains why the MC's hiding it, and why the MC main character is kind of like figuring things out, as being very fluid with his plans, you know. So yeah, great episode, and I'll see you next time. It's time to blast into Blazar 3, Episode 3, Video 3, threes all around. But you know what this episode isn't? It isn't a 3. It's a 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Pretty good episode. We'll talk about it. Let's get on with it. Because the series has been pretty dang good so far. This episode starts up, we have a new kaiju on the horizon. And our crew figure this out, they see this, and they start prepping knowledge, they start figuring things out. And they go like, alright, cool, we are a new unit, we need to figure things out, we need to work together. So they start training, we have fun, great little montage of all of them getting closer, running drills, tactical drills, fucking, what was the other one, like, combat ones, and one guy is just screaming his head off. It was funny. After all that, though, we have a brief moment with Gento at his locker, and we see a picture of his wife, of what I presume wife and kid, as we flash back to a mission and his old unit, and he runs toward, like, into a black hole. And what's up with all that? Is that related to Blazar? Is that why he can summon Blazar? Because to me, it seems like they're two different characters. He's not turning into Blazar, if that makes sense. But it's interesting to see, and it's also interesting that he saw someone there. Is that a malicious force? Is that him being kind to someone that may not be immediately human, and that being the core of his empathy? Who knows? He then pulls out a wedding ring and puts it on, and I'm curious, is this just because it's safer to do things without it, or is it like a full-on, like, oh no, tragic backstory, painful thing? We dive into the mecha some. It's fun, it's neat. I like seeing all the stuff with that. The cockpit has a really good, solid design. It's tight, it's cramped, it feels very technical, very intense kind of thing. And some of the research they figured out is like, oh yeah, the kaiju is aiming for a new fuel that people have been trying to work on and develop. And if it gets too much of it, it might cause an internal fusion reaction, doing untold damage, hurting a lot of people, all that kind of stuff. But now the kaiju is hitting Japan. Not that and something I find interesting and I really like is not the fact that they wouldn't have helped other people. It's just more the fact that they didn't have the exact precise information to go to their superiors to go there, like, to justify everything. It's like, it was, I like that they were like, we would have helped France and Germany and England and America, but like we didn't have all the information, so we couldn't. I liked how they, like, it's to show that, like, they're good people, they would have helped. But it is a perfect time to test and deploy the mecha. The whole prepping sequence, the whole launching sequence of the mech was good. The sound offs of everybody, it's good stuff. Visually, it's some of the most solid, giant tokusatsu effect work I have seen in a long time. Like, that's not to say that the stuff on, like, King Oger is bad. It's just, this felt very well integrated. It felt very knowing exactly what they're doing, like, you can still feel that, like, yes, some of this is scale model, but it feels very integrated, very well composited. They go and fight the kaiju, but there are some other forces agitating it and basically making it go fusion faster. And Gento basically pleads with them to, hey, can you let off? We got this. Don't worry. And they're like, oh, all right. And I kind of like that. It just really shows how big ball their main dude is. It's like, yeah, no, he's confident. He's a good leader. He doesn't have, like, I wouldn't say, like, he has no flaws. He's a perfect man. But, like, no, he listens to his subordinates. He tries to create an equal environment. He's very intuitive. He's very, like, listens to other people. He is a good leader. He's just a good dude. I like him. I like our main character. We have a back and forth between the mecha and the kaiju. It's fun, you know. I'm getting more and more into Ultraman fights. The kaiju lets off an EMP-like thing, however, and it takes the mecha out of commission. Just falls flat on its face. It's cute. They changed the eye lenses so they're swirly. It's adorable. Gento tries to reboot the whole thing, and as he gets out of the mecha, the fucking Blazar coin goes like screech, and he's like, "All right, cool, I'll summon you." Blazar then gets summoned. He says, "Let me in, coach." It's a fun fight. It's a lot of Blazar trying to touch the kaiju, going like, "God damn it, why are you so fucking hot? God fuck," you know. It's cute. It's adorable. The mecha, however, the mecha has a name. I don't remember it right now. Lets off some rockets and gives Blazar a really big hand. And while burning himself, Blazar pushes the thing that would shoot the energy out into the sky so it doesn't hurt anything, and burns himself. And it's like, oh man, that's badass. That's fucking self-sacrificial. It's cool. One final attack though, and the kaiju is done for. It's down and out. And we wind down with our team back in the main base, as it's revealed that, yeah, no, they are now the primary kaiju fighting force. And I think, to me, that seems like, okay, all the other ones are basically going to answer to them now. That's neat. As they all go off to do some more training. I like how they're all, like, they want to be better. They want to engage and they want to be better, and they do all that kind of stuff. I like that. I like it. I like it. Gento ponders upon the Ultra Coin and it's like, alright, what the fuck's gonna happen here? And then they go and train some more. This was a really great episode. I absolutely loved it. I genuinely love how tactical the show is. How you see the entire thought process of, okay, there's a kaiju. Okay, what's the kaiju's mode? What's its motives? How is it doing? How can we best make it so people won't get hurt? How we can eliminate damage as much as possible? Okay, we can do this, we can do this. But I also like how it's not just like, oh, they perfectly execute the plan. Like, no, the plan doesn't work out, but they have a plan in the first place. They aren't just going in there fucking guns a-blazing. And they're shown to be competent enough that even if the plan doesn't work, they are able to pivot into a different plan. And I think that's just like, it feels very smart. It's not, I don't think fundamentally plotting the show is any more like complicated, quote unquote, than like a typical show. It's like Ultra show, but this layer of planning feels very like deliberate and intentional, and like it's very like building a puzzle piece, and like, ooh, yes, I like it. I like this texture. To give it like an unrelated, semi-related, you get it when I mean it, vibe, it feels very like Shin Godzilla, how like the middle to end of that movie is all about all these different people like planning and organizing and getting information and like being effective bureaucrats and like getting everybody on board to able to fucking beat Godzilla. It feels like that on a much smaller scale, which of course you couldn't do that on a big giant fucking weekly scale, but like it's fun. This is kids' version of Shin Godzilla. because it does touch on the negative bureaucracy of Japan a little bit, but it also has a giant mecha. That's fun. The crew is entirely likable. Like so far, I wouldn't say they're flat, but they are very TMNT 80s. It's very much like you're the blank, you're the blank, you're the blank. And I would like to see them more fleshed out, but they're likable right now. I enjoy seeing them on screen. And the mystery of Blazar and Gento is interesting. I don't know exactly where it's going. I am definitely of the opinion that they're two different people. That he's not turning into Blazar. Blazar is just like going like Blazar's just like around him and goes like, "Hey, I can fucking help you. Let me do that real quick." And I wonder, how is it related to the black hole? How is all this kind of thing connected? And I can't wait to see what happens next. And I can't wait to see you next time. Keep blasting off. It's time to blast into Blazar once more, buddies. And boy, this is just a big fun dumb kaiju episode 4 we have here. We got this weird looking sea slug angel monster, and it looks really cool. Love the vibe of it. And when it gets hit by a green gas, it dissolves. And we have one of the crew undercover getting information. And yeah, that's the sort of setup for the episode. I love the look of this monster. I love the way its skin works. I love the arms. I love all of it. I love how its skin, it reminds me of someone getting burned and having like blisters. It's gross in a very fun visual way. I also like how they really obfuscated the human form. Like, they really went out of their way to make this creature not look like a person. Just overall, really great design. I love this monster. A lot of information then comes out about the kaiju. They gather a lot. So, first things first, it seems to be based off of a genetically modified creature that the company they're investigating created for a purpose. I think is to hunt down a harmful fish. Which, you know, cool, sure. But if you're playing God, you know, things happen. And the company also accidentally discovered that they have a chemical compound that can make the creature dissolve. The giant monster dissolve when it accidentally broke one of the tankers open. So basically, what they've been doing is whenever the monster shows up, they've been spraying it down with this gas and basically just putting it off till later to deal with it. And they point out, it's like, yeah, but it's taking more and more gas each time we do it to take care of it. Like, last time we did it, it was only like 1 ton of gas. Now this time it's taking 2 tons. And it's getting harder and harder, and we're just paying this company more and more, and now it's looking more and more like it's just a big old conspiracy. Oh man. Because the monster just showed back up, Garen fights it, and it just takes a lot of gas, so much so that it almost puts the people in danger. It's losing effectiveness. We then have a conversation between Cap and Emmy, I think her name is, back and forth, just kind of figuring things out and like how to deal with it. They leave in a huff. They leave in this big old argument, and turns out though it was all a big plan. Emmy goes in, gets some more concrete information that they're doing all this stuff. She gets caught. That's kind of part of the plan. However, some of it doesn't go exactly the way that they want it to, because the guy's being the mastermind of this whole thing is being a fucking weirdo. But the Cap busts in, breaks in, helps out, fucking does all the shit. And again, I love how tactical all of this feels. Like, it is off the cuff, it is superhero shit, but it is, like, there's a plan behind it. There's a reason for what they're doing. And the monster is starting to rumble and rise. He gets everyone to safety. The captain transforms into Blazar. We have a fun back and forth fight. It's cool. It's just a lot of stuff. Everybody gets shoved into things. That's when the rest of the crew go like, all right, cool. We need to figure out a way to actually take care of this thing. They find some liquid nitrogen, and they use it on the kaiju. The kaiju freezes up, and Blazar is just able to blast it open, break it up. It's dead. They finally beated the monster, and they didn't even need to use any gas. The day is saved. The conspiracy is out in the light. And everybody gets to go home safe. However, there's a little bit of tension. It's just like, the girl goes like, hey, here's some flowers. Take them to your family. You probably don't know what they mean. And he's like, yeah, I know, whatever. She walks away, and he goes like, they mean gratitude. And he's like, thanks for being a good boss and helping save the day. This was a really good episode. I really loved a lot of it. It's not a lot of super plot stuff, but it is just a fun monster of the week. Some damn good giant monster action. And I've been loving all the designs of the kaiju so far. I really love this episode's kaiju. It is gross. It is kooky. It doesn't feel like a human shape. And I cannot wait to see more next week. I hope to see you then. Keep on blasting, baby. Hello, everybody. It is time to blast into Blazar. It is episode 5, video 5, and I hope you're having a fine time. So, as a thing I think some people have pointed out and I have noticed is that there's some stories that have a problem. And note, problem is in air quotes here, but certain sci-fi stories, specifically ones that are based in a semi-real version of our reality, of like just like outside your window kind of things, they eventually reach a horizon line that basically is that they can only go so far before their basic presumption that this is the real world, that this is our world, or look outside and that's the world you're looking at. They can only go so far before that becomes incredulous, that you can't really believe it anymore. Marvel has a big problem with this, specifically with how Reed Richards has made huge growths and strengths in technology, how Iron Man has gone on and did all this stuff. Iron Man's villains. To a certain point, the Marvel Universe no longer is the world outside our window, but it is a world based on the world outside our window. And Marvel's just kind of let it be that way. They don't give a shit they don't really care how things connect to our world anymore. And Ultraman Blazar was getting to that point, but this episode walks over that line and goes a mile, and I love it for it. This isn't me complaining. This is me appreciating, because we opened this episode, the crew is looking at and helping another group deal with some kaiju railguns that they're developing. However, a local is protesting, saying like, hey, no, stop this. This is bad juju. And it turns out this person protesting is actually a childhood friend of the karate girl, because they're in her hometown. And it's like, oh, that's neat. That's cool. They have a little reunion. Karate girl dives into her local accent briefly for a second, and it's something I want to say I appreciate, because in the past, back in the halcyon days of the early 2000s, when they wanted to do a country accent, when they wanted to do like a different accent translation, kind of like transliteration like vibes, they would go with a southern accent. Some examples of that are like Nico Robin in One Piece, you know, that kind of thing. Specifically the 4Kids dub, I mean. But in this, they went with a Midwest accent, and I thought, oh, that's cute, that's clever, that's something different. But basically, they're like, okay, cool. She has the thing, she's protesting, she's saying like there's a guardian deity and a kaiju underneath everything. We should check it. And this is where it goes over the line in a good way and runs that mile, because one, I love to see that it's not just our crew dealing with the kaiju problem. The kaijus are just an omnipresent thing for people in the society. Other groups are trying to fight them and deal with them in their own ways. People in just regular society have been dealing with them, because we saw that with the fishermen, and now we're seeing this with the girl, the protesting girl. Kaijus are a thing, and people deal with them. They're not new, it's just part of society. And it's neat to see how these kaiju have changed culture. Like there is folklore and all this kind of stuff that is more heavily rooted in the kaijus existing, and I imagine that's true for everywhere else on Earth. And third, finally, it's good. This is just partially. I love how they weren't being dicks about it. They weren't just like, "Oh, screw you and your folklore. It doesn't matter. We're trying to protect people here." It's like, no, she came to us with these problems. We looked into it. It seemed like a lot of folklore. We did tests to make sure that there wasn't anything going on, and we didn't find anything. So we thought these were just legends. But there's earthquakes, and the protest girl is saying that it is the earthquakes, you know. But it's nice to see like this whole world is built with kaijus in mind. Like it is a common occurrence, and it's a thing that people are it's on people's minds. But they continue their tests with the mecha helping them out, testing durability and all that kind of stuff, and the kaiju wakes up. It has a great design. It's just phenomenal. And it gets into a little fight with the mecha. The mecha gets damaged, but the kaiju drinks a lot of fucking water. I love that bit just because of how the puppet and the water and all of it interacted. Great just use of technique. It just like it's the little details like that, and I just really appreciate it, because it's like the sound mixing plus the miniatures plus the way that they were able to get the puppet into the water. It looked really good. But it goes back to sleep, and they're trying to figure out what does all that mean. They go like, oh well, it's been hibernating for a while, so it's in the process of waking up, so it's gonna take some more time. And they're trying to figure out how to beat it, like how, like, it's a kaiju, we gotta kill it. And the protest woman goes like, whoa, hold on, this is a guardian deity. We need to fix the shrine. That will do everything we need. And they're like, okay, first things first, we have no proof. Not saying that we don't believe you, but we need to have like a reasonable belief for this to happen. And either way, it is way too risky to let you do that, right? However, Emmy, back at home base, finds some information, finds the rest of the scroll that the childhood friend uses to show, like, look, it's a kaiju, and this is all the stuff, right? And shows that, yes, no, the shrine is located basically at the brainstem, and it knocks it the fuck out. And it's like, oh, okay, so there we have some proof, not just that it is a guardian deity, all this kind of stuff, but we have proof that the shrine would do what we think it might. But it's still too risky to put a civilian there, so the karate girl says, okay, cool, I have mountain climbing experience, I'll climb up there and do it so nobody else gets in danger. And the captain says, like, yo, agreed, I'll go with, and they go up, they deal with the shrine, they go up there, kaiju wakes up, the captain falls, Ultraman comes out, saves the captain dude, and basically we have a brief little moment where Karate Girl tries to fix the shrine, Meanwhile, Ultraman, Blazar, and the Mecha try and keep the kaiju distracted. It's just like, alright, cool, here's your ship. A lot of moving parts. They all succeed, though, and it's great. The kaiju goes back to sleep. Ultraman's just like, alright, okay, I'm not blowing anything up. Alright, cool. Whee! Leaves, the day is saved, and they did it all without killing the god creature, and I think it's really neat. It's cute. It's a good thing. This is a dang good episode. It's really good. It is. I love the world building. If you haven't noticed, it makes the world feel a little more real. It feels more self-actualized. It's not just like the world outside. Like, you see how people react to kaiju and see how it is, how it's been an ongoing thing for people in society to just have a kaiju around, and it's believable to an extent. All the characters are just wholesome. No one's an asshole. They're all trying their best to like work together and be a crew and all that kind of stuff. And I absolutely love how at the very end, when the captain and the karate girl are in the van just going like, oh boy, that was an episode. And the captain teasingly does a Midwest accent to her, and she's like, shut up, I don't sound like that. And it's cute. These moments are cute, and it just makes you really love and appreciate these characters. And again, I love the design of this kaiju. I am very much if it is not a two-leggy person just like doing a T-Rex pose, I love kaijus that aren't T-Rex poses. Give me more non-T-Rex kaijus. Also, I just liked how it wasn't like a mad destruction goblin. It was just like, yo, I'm awake, I'm confused, what the fuck's going on? A thing is attacking me. Okay, fight. It felt there was a sympathy to me to the monster. It was cute. It was confused. It was just a little critter. But yeah, that's it for this episode of Blast Into Blazar. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. Keep on blasting, buddies. Till next time. Hello, everyone. It is time to blast into Blazar. It's episode 6. After last week was a recap, which I kind of planned on doing something with, but then I just kind of didn't. Yeah, well, I'm sorry about that. I'll make it up to you later, somehow, some way. This, however, was a delightful little episode. Really just fucking good. And it focuses on the tech guy. Because we start this episode off with some random citizens just going like, oh, look, Aurora Borealis. Insert steamed hams joke here. And all of a sudden their car starts driving away. And they're like, what the heck is happening? And I don't know, something serious is happening in Ultraman land. We then head over to the base of operations. Everyone is talking to Tech Guy, going like, hey, could you do this? Hey, is this thing done? Hey, pay attention to the thing that I want you to pay attention to. And he seems happy enough to try and do it, but it becomes too much for him, and he kind of just like has a brief, I don't know what to describe it. Did he faint? Did he add a brief moment of lightheadedness? That kind of thing. And they're like, all right, dude, take the rest of the day off. Just go relax, right? So he's in a laundromat near his apartment. I would imagine with how important his job is, they would spring for an apartment with a washing machine and dryer inside the building, but whatever. He's just sitting there lamenting of like, I just want to help everybody. And he's talking to the washing machine like it's a person. It's cute. It's a really just kind of like, yeah, he sees these machines not just as tools, but as like entities in and of themselves. And a friggin' alien shows up and goes like, hey, that's the right kind of jazz. We like that shit where I'm from. Yeah, these machines have personalities and lives. and I think you're the kind of person for the job. What are you talking about? Haha, I'm shooting you with my laser. And he takes off his shirt. It's like, oh, Jesus, what are you doing? The dude is ripped. What the fuck? Why is Tech Guy ripped? Why is this man full of rippling muscles? It's just probably because he has, like, a workout routine because of the agency he's in. But, like, still, it's a little, I wouldn't say disconcerting, it's just a little surprising. It's just like, damn, those are very well-defined abs. Good on you, sir. Please don't dehydrate to look lean and cut. It's not good for your health. And I hope you didn't do that for this episode. But the alien goes on and goes like, hey, so we're going to take over Earth, and we're going to use Earth Garon to do it. You want to join? And the dude's like, no. He pulls out his gun, it's about to fire, and it won't fire. And the alien goes like, yeah, dude, I shot you with my fucking tech control gun. It won't work. Hey, washing machine, open up a goddamn portal? I knew Japanese technology could get advanced, but I didn't know it could get that advanced. So, alien disappears, and Tech Guy's just trying to figure out what the fuck to do, right? He talks to the washing machine again, and it's like, hey, look, I know the alien said you had like a lot of bad feelings, a lot of bad mojo vibes. Look, I'm sorry if I made you feel that you didn't matter. You do. I care about you. You're my friend. And the washing machine's like, yeah, you're right. And it opens up a portal for the Tech Guy to go chase after the alien. Right as the captain comes back, because there was a moment before when he was talking to the washing machine, and the captain barges in and is like, this seems a little awkward. I'm gonna leave. But the captain sees it, and Tech Guy goes like, hey, I gotta go do this. And the captain's like, no, Jesus, fuck. We have procedures. He's not like mad at the guy. It's more like, Jesus, I don't want you to get hurt. He's at the alien place. Captain Man is now like begging the washing machine. It's like, hey, he's a really good friend of yours. He's a really good friend of mine. I just need to know where he is. And the washing machine's like, yeah, I got you. Here you go. He's at the air turbine area, and it's like, all right, cool. So they go gather up all the materials, head over there, while Tech Guy is fucking holding the aliens hostage. His gun starts working. It's like, yeah, no, they can't. All right, cool. And he does this whole thing, and they're like, and the alien just goes like, hey, let me show you something. This is our old destroyed world. You see, we have to take you over. We don't have any place to live. And it's just like, yeah, sure. But, like, you don't have to take... Why you gotta be a dick about it? You know, maybe if you, like, came and said, like, hey, we don't really have a place. Could we be refugees? Maybe Earth might have taken you in, and you could have been, like, cool. No, you just want to take over and be bitches. Fuck you. Team arrives... all this kind of stuff as Earth Garon was commandeered, held hostage, and being used for evil and nefarious means. So the captain gets out, distracts Earth Garon, and tries to get its attention, to get it away from the rest of the team. As he's running away, the Ultraman thingamajig pops up. I love this point of view shot. It's fun, it's inventive, it's really neat. It makes you feel like the dude. He transforms into Ultraman. Ultraman and Earth Garon have a fun fight. It's really cool. Meanwhile, Tech Dude is just going like, hey, Earth Garon, this isn't like you. All that kind of stuff. End the fight. The balcony that the Tech Guy's on gets crumbled, gets caboodled. And Earth Garon makes a save, actually saves the dude, and it's just like, oh yeah, there are personalities and souls inside the machines, but people treating them with respect means that they care about you. So it's like, oh, Earth Garon heard his pleas and cries. The tech aliens realize, oh shit, jig is up. All right. Okay. Let's see. I gotta bounce out of here. Turns the wind turbine into a fucking helicopter and trying to get out there. Ultraman Blazar pulls a fucking Looney Tunes. Gets his goddamn laser spear, right? Okay. He then spins his body around, which is a power I didn't know he had. A power the show I don't think has ever shown he has. And just launches it like a motherfucking spring. I thought, for a moment, I was watching One Piece. What the fuck? It's funny, it's hilarious, but it's also just comes out of fucking nowhere. And we end the show on a little epilogue with the captain and the tech guy taking care of the washing machine that took care of them, even though it's seemingly not alive anymore. And they're just going like, "Hey, I know you want to try and help as much as you can, but like, you still got to take time. You still gotta take a moment to breathe." And he's like, "Yeah, but I just really want to work on tech, and I really want to be Earth Garon's friends." And the captain's like, "Dude, he saved your life. You're already friends." And it's like, yeah, don't worry about it. And the episode ends. It's really cute. It's really adorable. That alien motherfucker felt classic. Was it? It felt like a referential costume to a 60s or early 70s Ultraman series. I have nothing to prove this other than the fact that I could Google it, and I'm not. But it feels very classic, and this feels like a very classic-y sci-fi anthology Ultraman episode. I don't know if I would say, oh, this is a throwback, because I don't know the full context of this, but it does feel very classic. And it's also neat to just kind of go like, hey, yo, the objects that are around you might have feelings. It's very reminiscent of a specific yokai. There is a yokai that if an item lasts for 100 years, the spirit that is within the object is allowed to move on and about and do things. That's where you get like lamp yokais and umbrella yokais. That's where those are from. It's an item that lives 100 years, and I think it's neat that they're kind of like using that and kind of like, yeah, it's neat. It's neat to see. And as always, I love how the captain's just trying his hardest to be a good boss. He's trying to listen to everybody. He's worried about his subordinates, and he's like, hey, take time, relax, do all the things you need to do. It's fun. Great episode. The thing I've noticed so far is it doesn't feel like we've had a big overarching arc thing. And I don't know whether to gauge it, like, is this normal for Ultraman to be this very episodic? Again, I don't mind it. I like it. I like what I'm watching. It's just more of like, does Ultraman have overarching plot lines? And this is kind of like a return to form? Is this par for the course for how seasons go? I don't know. So I'm posing the question. And I also have another question to ask you. I did something a little bit different for this episode, and I just kind of want to know, did you feel anything different? Did you notice anything? It's not in the edit, it's in the way I'm recorded stuff. And I'm not going to tell you which answer I want, but I just want to know, did you notice anything different? And on that question, I'm going to leave you off with this. Blazar good. Blazar wacky, but Blazar good. Till next week, everybody. It's time to blast into Blazar with episode 7. You know, just when I start asking about, hey, is Ultraman just really episodic, or is there like multi-part stories, or is there like arcs? I get fucking hit with a multi-part story. Fucking Boingo, maybe you should just shut up and wait for your answer to be your question to be fucking answered. Yeah, this is a good episode. We'll talk about it. It also deals with aspects of kaiju I think it's lost sometimes, and I think it's real fascinating, and this episode does it pretty cool. So we start off there, all hanging out in the headquarters, doing all that kind of stuff, and Captain Gento, not Gento, that's fucking Penguin. Captain Gento is reading a book from his old university professor, and they're all going like, "Oh shit, you fucking took lessons from him?" He's like, "Yeah, he was a fucking weird dude though, cool but weird." As we see this old man, the professor, basically kind of doing a ritual with 7 armbands, dunking it in a lake, burning himself as an upside down rainbow appears in the sky. These upside down rainbows, however, get the attention of our little crew, and they're going like, "This is kind of fucking weird." Because, like, yeah, the upside down rainbows can happen, but, like, it just keeps happening, and they are staying there. That's a little weird. Maybe we should investigate. So, Captain Gento goes like, "Hey, maybe I should talk to my old professor, see if he knows anything." Specifically because one of the kaiju that he studied was kind of related to rainbows, and so the guy tells him a story about being a young kid in a rural village in Japan during a drought, and all the adults began a prayer ritual for this spirit, this kami, this kaiju, to bring rain, and he does. And basically the grandma goes like, "Hey, don't fucking talk to these creatures with like ill will in your heart. It'll fuck them up. Okay, you gotta be good, be good person, right?" And Gento's like, "Oh, all right, I'll take some of that information." As Gento gets a call from headquarters of like, "Okay, there's been a kaiju. He's doing shit, and they're gearing up to go fight him. They're in the giant fucking Mecha Godzilla thing, right? Iron Geron, come and get it." Jesus. So they're kind of just like doing things, and the guy and the creature is making a storm, right? And just continually making storms, and Garon gets kind of robot knocked out. They keep researching the kaiju, and they're going like, "Okay, there's something up here." And Gento goes and talks to the professor, and the professor basically goes full Joker mode and goes like, "Humanity was a mistake. We are not living in harmony with nature. All this is bullshit." He is one fucking cabin in the woods away from a goddamn Unabomber. And he basically fucking goes like, "Fuck you." He pushed what did he do? Did he push Gento? He fucking did some fucking magic to Gento, knocked him out for a bit in the rain. He comes back to the fucking headquarters going like, "This is fucking, we need to fucking stop this." They go fight the creature. They do it some more, all that kind of stuff. They get fucking knocked the fuck out. And Gento goes full Ultraman. And they fight for a bit. And boy howdy, is Ultraman not able to handle it. He does the Blazar, but it just gets eradicated by the fucking kaiju's rainbow beams. As we leave with Captain Gento knocked out in the middle of a forest, de-transformed. Because normally, Ultraman flies away. This time, disappeared. Also, he was with like the little timer thingamabob. Power scale? I don't know. Good episode. Good, fun episode. Enjoyable. I love how this episode deals with kaiju as like a spiritual force. Because that's like a thing with a lot of kaiju. It's like, it's Godzilla for a reason. He's not just called Godzilla for nothing. Like, they are meant to be a fictionalization of like spirits and kami within Shinto, but they are not kami, Shinto, yokai, and Shinto. It is a purposefully fictionalized version of those kind of things, but it talks about them, and it's a way to talk about it. This episode also deals with like the rejection of humanity as part of nature, of like humanity is so fundamental, is like asking the question, is humanity so fundamentally separated from nature that we can't reintegrate, that we can't live in harmony with it. And like we have that argument between Gento and his professor. Also, just a really good Gento focus. We get a lot more about his character, about like how strong of a conviction he has, about like when he wants something done, like he'll get it done. We get a little bit of focus on his past of like learning and education, of like he wants to learn about kaiju, especially from people who like research and it's not just kill them, you know. Also, great kaiju design. Absolutely love this beastie. It's one of the best ones of the show yet. It's really solid in concept. It's just really good, really solid. And I kind of noticed a pattern with some of the kaiju. So we got the slug dude, who's all about like environmental stuff, right? We have the earth spirit thing. We then have the aliens that said all objects kind of have a soul. And it kind of feels like it's leaning into not necessarily like a spiritual thing, but kind of like, no, you know what? It is leaning into a spiritual thing. It feels like a little bit. It's all about like the clash of technology and spiritualization. Specifically because like they're okay. Because I'm a fucking nerd. The Shinto faith, which is the one part of the faith system in Japan and the folklore and all that kind of stuff, is an animist belief system. If you do not know what an animist belief system is, it is the belief that everything kind of has a spirit, you know, kind of has a soul. And several belief systems have this. Like Irish mythology has this. I think Hinduism also has this kind of thing as well. Don't quote me on that, but Shinto definitely has this. That's why Japan is often has the nickname Land of a Million Gods, because these animist spirits are also kind of deities in and of themselves. It's interesting to see, you know, and how this season of Ultraman is playing with that in a way, and especially because Blazar himself feels very. He's alien in nature, but he also feels spiritual. Like, the thing he does is an astral phenomenon. It's not just a laser beam. It's like, it's a thing in nature. It's a thing in the universe, you know? And a lot of his moves also seem very inspired by, like, the breathing techniques that a variety of martial arts use. His, like, intro pose is, like, a thing from Muay Thai. A lot of his moves are from Muay Thai. And I think that's interesting. Will my brainworms continue to be correct? Who knows? But on a small little dumb note, I noticed that Blazar has like a tabi shoe toe thing. Yeah, his big toe is separate from the rest of his toes. Like a tabi shoe. It's not super separate. It's not like actual separate, like they can move them. But, like, he has a line there. That's neat. This episode was good. I had a lot of fun. Good episode, good fun. But, that's it for this video. Till next time with part 2. Enjoy your day. Hello, everybody. It is time to blast into Blazar. So last week, we had a professor who wanted to do a little bit of eco-terrorism. Everybody tried to stop them, and Gento fell asleep in the woods. How is this going to play out for our intrepid heroes and our eco-terrorist professor? So we start the episode. Gento's in the hospital, and he's having a vision of Blazar, of like something happening, and he's like, oh shit, what the fuck? He wakes up and they're all going like, hey, shit's fucked. We're trying to prep as much as we can. All this kind of stuff, right? Because just all these different thingamajigs. It's like, there's several typhoons. Which, if I remember right, a typhoon's a hurricane just going in the opposite direction. Because hurricanes go clockwise. I think typhoons go counterclockwise. I'm Floridian. I know hurricanes. But they're heading back to base, and they're discussing all the things that they have to deal with. And Gento's going like, yeah, it's the professor guy. He's the root cause of a lot of this. And he goes like, so we just gotta be willing to kill this man if he will not go with, if he won't just relent and stop. You know what I mean? And everyone's just like, first off, kind of like, whoa, hold on, kill him? And he's like, yo, if killing him can save millions, yeah, let's kill him. And his vice captain, his buddy, what's his name? Teraraki goes like, hey, I don't feel comfortable with that, and all this kind of stuff. So they're developing the plan. And Gento goes like, yo, I'm going to go talk to the professor and just murk him if I have to. And Teraraki's like, hey, hold on. Wait a second. I've read all of his books. I have a feeling, I feel like I know the guy. Let me try to talk to him, see if I can talk him down. And Gento's basically like, you know what? All right, I trust you. But you also have to be willing to kill him if he won't. We have to be able to take that shot, you know, to be willing to do that. All the while, they strap big-ass war machine guns to Garon, and they're flying in. They're trying to get at the little diamond in his head that can shoot, like, the fucking laser, and go like, alright, if we can stop that, we can take him down easier. And then we have a battle of philosophy between Teraraki and the professor of just, like, literally it's the conversation of, humanity is destroying nature. Yeah, but humanity is part of nature. We should be able, like, we can overcome this and everything. And it's like, yeah, here's the thing. I'm killing a lot of people, but it's going to be a reset. There's going to be survivors. They're going to build a new human civilization. I'm not killing everybody. And Teraraki's basically like, yeah, but you are devastating the ecology of everything. The plants will die. Small animals will suffocate. Insects will drown. All these different little things. And the professor's just like, fuck, you're right. But you know what? I don't give a shit if you're right or not. Fuck you. And he's about to do some fucking attack. And Teraraki's just like, no, I'm good shot. I'm fucking good. Bam. Hits the bracelets that he's using to kind of like mind link. Because there's a cute moment earlier on where Gento looks at his wrist where the Ultraman buckle shows up, and he just goes like, call it a crazy hunch, but I think the wrist thing is probably helping him connect to the kaiju. What makes you say that? I don't know. It's not like he's hiding his secret identity, and I would love to see the rest of the crew see what happens there. But taking out the bangles, the bracelets, only serves to fuel up the monster even more, because it's like the pure fucking malice the guy's feeling. And Gento pops out, transforms into Ultraman. They go back and forth. Earth Garon finally is able to get a shot of the railgun and breaks the diamond. Ultraman's able to absorb the rainbow energy that comes out of the diamond and creates a brand new attack. They're able to defeat the kaiju, save the day. All the typhoons are downgrading into tropical storms. As we meet back with part of the crew in the headquarters going like, hey, Gento said to call the attack Rainbow Slash, and they all make fun of the name, and they're like, that's kind of lame. And we meet up with Gento and Teraraki at Teraraki's parents' farm, and they're just doing some manual labor, just kind of like, hey, we had a tense moment as bros. We need some bro time to like heal our broship. You know what I mean? We need some bro time. So they're just broing out, drinking ramen. It's fucking hilarious. I love these two guys as like just bros. And they go like, man, we didn't have enough evidence to charge the professor with any crimes, so he's kind of gotten away scot-free. And they go like, I wonder what he's doing now. He's probably fishing. And that's what he's doing. And then we hear like a kaiju scream, and I don't know if it is the hashtag kaiju that he was dealing with, and he's like, oh cool, you're not dead after all. The symbolism of my childhood innocence is still present, all that kind of stuff. Or if it's a new kaiju, you're just going like, ooh, more eco-terrorism. I don't know. But overall, damn good episode. I really thoroughly enjoyed it. I love how Teraraki almost got to the professor. Like, genuinely, the professor was like, fuck, you're right. God fucking... Nope, sunk cost, I'm doing it. It was... Plus, there's a lot of great moments between those two characters, especially after, like, everything is done, and he's like, alright, cool. He does like, the badass, like, alright, cool. We're done with this. You're coming with us. But before that, could you please sign my book? I mean, hey... You are talking to the world's expert, and you do enjoy his literature. Why not get him to sign your book? Overall, like, a lot of great fights, a lot of cool effects. I love the rainbow slash. I love, like, the rainbowy effects were good and well done. They felt really well composited. And I love how the team is just, like, relying on each other more. They're becoming, like, a real unit. They care about each other. That's fun. And yeah, I really enjoyed this episode of Blazar. I am understanding Ultraman. Boingo Rider, Ultraman Understander. And the fucking preview for the next episode. Give me that lump of raw meat, because he looks fucking interesting. Till next time, buddies. It's another edition of Into Blazar, and this week we're talking about episode 9. The preview for this week's episode last week was fascinating because that creature was just a little guy, it was just a creature, and I cannot wait to see what his deal is. But we gotta talk about the episode itself. We open up with Karate Woman getting an invitation to see a band play that she met a while ago and she became friends with. And they're like, hey, we're amateurs, but one day we'll get into a real concert hall, and when we do, we'll invite you. And she was like, alright, cool. So she's all happy for them, and that's all fun and neat. And she's like, yeah, look at these people I knew. They did something cool and impressive. The intro happens, and I gotta reiterate, the intro is pretty damn good. Really good and solid. As we head over to Scarred headquarters, as things are happening kind of wacky. We have a wacky sitcom situation with Gento, as Blazar is just kind of like going like, hey, what's up? I'm controlling your body for a moment, and makes Gento drink some vegetable juice. Everyone's like, Captain, I thought you hated that, and he has to cover it up and all that kind of stuff, and he starts meditating, and basically goes like, oh shit, what's up, Blazar? Okay, cool, you're not talking to me. Okay, let's see if you can respond to me. I'm gonna clap my hands. If I clap my hands once, shine your lights once. And he claps his hands once, and Blazar does that, and it's like, alright, cool. You can't hear me. If I clap my hands twice, like, shine twice. So he's like, alright, cool. Clap, clap. And then Blazar's just like, bye! And just, like, super laser. Like, I wouldn't say it's a laser, but just, like, goes very, very bright, very, very thing. As Gento wakes up, as the little Blazar medallion starts burning his leg, it's hot. And it's like, okay, something's happening with this giant alien creature. As the band that Karate Woman knows is gearing up to start playing in the amphitheater, and they're like, all right, boys, this is our last performance. And you're just going like, what? Why is this your last performance? As a meteor lands and everyone's going like, oh shit, it's a kaiju. Let's go fucking fight the kaiju. As the band starts playing. And I really enjoy this fight scene because the band keeps playing and it's just this quartet. There's no like action cutaway insert music. It's just like, no. This whole fight scene is with the quartet, and that's really cool. As the absolute creature just starts attacking things, and it's just like, what the fuck is up with this creature? And like they do some readings and go like, oh, is this not really an organism? Is this a robot? It doesn't matter. It's a creature. It's a fun looking creature. They do the whole, like, he falls over and they play it backwards to make it look like he's standing up by himself, but really how they filmed it is he landed on like a crash pad or something, and I think that's cute. It's adorable. I love seeing the little things like that. Earth Garon goes and fights it, does not succeed like Earth Garon does. Earth Garon gets stabbed, and Gento turns into Ultraman. They do the whole thing. Meanwhile, Karate Woman is like reading some like things, like measurements, and going like, oh shit, there's music. There's music going on. Shit, I'm in a tokusatsu. This can't be a coincidence. And just goes to the vice captain and says like, hey, this is a long shot. I think I may know what's going on. Can I go deal with it? And they're like, if you have a hunch, fucking follow it. You know? So all the while, Ultraman Blazar is fighting this fucking creature. I love this creature. I don't remember its name. It is just creature in my head. As Karate Woman comes in and goes like, hey, what the fuck are you guys controlling them? And like some of them break away as we get a little flashback. It's like, yeah, they are controlling because they're aliens. They go to a planet to basically like scout out and plunder resources and then destroy the planet with a kaiju, and that's their modus operandi. But when they came to Earth, they found music and fell in love with it, and they just fell in love with music and want to keep playing it. So they are like heartbroken. It's like, we gotta do our job, but we don't want to be doing this. So they're playing music and they're trying to beat the whole thing. All the while, Blazar is able to beat the kaiju, and all of the and the only one playing music at that time is just one dude playing like a cello. The rest of them were holding Karate Woman back. But when the kaiju blows up, the dude gets hurt and it's like alien arm gets revealed, and he's just like, all right, dudes, we failed. That's fucking great. Just be happy, play music, live your life. Don't worry about this bullshit. It's bullshit, and you know that. And it's just like, damn. I really enjoyed this episode. It's a dang good episode. I love the aliens like coming to terms and like learning about humanity, but also realizing like that push and pull. Like it's very simple. It's very much made for kids, but like it's good. It's solid. I love the retro feel with those alien designs and the kaiju, the creature. I don't know. The kaiju is a direct reference to an older Ultraman kaiju. I have not seen that before, but I absolutely adore this dude. The whole episode has that kind of like old school Star Trek-y Twilight Zone vibe that a lot of the season has, and apparently a lot of like classic Ultraman has, which, you know what, I appreciate. This feels like it's I don't know, because I'm not an Ultra fan, super Ultra fan, but this feels like it's very much a throwback to like old school Showa era Ultraman, and just like for fun. Yeah, and the aliens fall in love with music. I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff. Lots of good moments. Lots of fun moments with Gento just dealing with Blazar. And speaking of Blazar, what the fuck is going on with him? Is he just being weird? Is he just being, like... Talking about this episode, going back and like, oh, he drink vegetable juice. At first, it's just like, oh, is Blazar just going like, fucking, no inhibition? Ugh. You know, that kind of thing. Let the intrusive thoughts win. But now I'm thinking about it. It's like, what if Gento is just overworking himself, and Blazar's like, this man needs vitamins, and Blazar's just like, no, you know. I think that, honestly, that's probably the more accurate thing of what happened. But like, now I'm just trying to think, is like, is Blazar trying to communicate? Because all he does is like grunts and like martial arts noises. Is he trying to communicate, or is he like animalistic? Is he just pure like fight kaiju, protect friend, rah, you know? Which that could just work with the vegetable juice as well. It's just like you are human friend, you are hungry, drink thing, you know. Or another thought, because of the way Blazar, when like he touches something hot or he touches something sharp, he reacts, right? And I think that's fun. I think that's a fun little detail. But my thought is like, what if that's like, it's very childlike, it's very innocent. What if he is a child? What if he's a baby Ultra? What if he's like a toddler Ultra just trying to help out? Is that a thing? Do Ultras age? Are there baby Ultras? I don't know, but I think it'd be neat to find out. I have no idea what's going on with Blazar. I'm just fucking throwing spaghetti at the wall. And just what will happen with him. Is he going to finally be able to communicate with Gento? Are they going to be able to go like, alright, 1 for yes, 2 for no? Are they going to be able to do anything like that? I don't know. And I'm excited to see what happens next. And I am excited for you to see what happens next time on Blast Into Blazar. It's time to blast into Blazar. Feels like we're finally really digging into some of the underlying meat of this whole show. Specifically because they've been reviving a lot of like very Showa throwbacky elements. And I think they're really trying to say something new with it. Mainly just the kind of questioning of how we deal with kaiju, or what is a kaiju, and like all this kind of back and forth on all this kind of stuff. And here's the thing, it's new to me because I haven't seen it. It may not be new to Ultra fans, because we start this episode with Gento just in his regular everyday family life, while a new segment plays on TV basically going like, hey, babies cry for their food because they're hungry. And like he gets a mental flashback to when Blazar kind of took over his body and like down the vegetable juice, and like I think it's trying to go like Blazar is doing something. It is intentional. Is that he's trying to nutritionize the dude? Is Blazar just going like, I'm hungry? Ugh. Who knows? Whomst knows? But basically, the family life is being happy and fun. Gento's getting a day off, so they're gonna go do something as a family. And the son is a little kid, and so he's obsessed with kaiju. And there's a brand new kaiju egg, so the son goes like, I want to go see that. And the dad's and the mom are like, all right, son, all right, we'll do that. So they go to the egg, and it hatches, and we get a tiny little adorable little a kaiju. You know, right? It's adorable, right? And everyone's going, oh yeah, and immediately all the fucking grunts are there going like, oh, shoot the beast, boom, 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 boom. And everyone's going like, oh shit, they're fucking shooting at it, right? As everything is just going to haywire, right? A giant kaiju shows up, and Gento's team has to deal with it. All the while, there's just cute back and forth of like, they're like, Gento's calling, it's like, hey, this is happening, but he's having to be coy because his family doesn't know he's still working with the organization, and so they have to play it a certain way. But Earthgaron gets summoned. They have to deal with the mama kaiju. It's like, oh no, everybody's trying to deal with everything, running away, yada yada, all that stuff, and it is just not doing well. Earthgaron's fucking up the mom, and everything's just, not everything seems to be copacetic. Nothing seems to be on the up and up, right? And boss man, leader guy, is going like, hey, fucking kill the kaiju. And as they're going away, Gento's son goes like, hey, like that kaiju's just a mom trying to protect her kid, right? And Gento's like, yeah, fuck, I gotta go be Ultraman. He doesn't say that, but like he tries to help. He basically transforms into Ultraman. He goes and helps the creature, but the creature is, Jesus Christ, I'm bouncing all over the place. Whoa. What the fuck? What happened there? I glitched the fuck out. Ultraman goes, basically tries to fight the kaiju, but also deal with it, calm it down to an extent as best he can. I don't know. They never specify what's happening, but Ultraman summons the thing to deal with the kaiju, like his final attack. The other arm then grabs it and is like, no. So is this Blazar saying, no, we shouldn't kill the monster? Or is this Gento saying, no, we shouldn't kill the monster? And there's a conflict of interest? Or are they both, like, having that conflict of interest? Who knows? But ultimately, they do figure out something and deal with the kaiju, and they kind of get sent away in this golden egg. Who knows? But the boss man wanted the dead kaiju, and they didn't get a dead kaiju, so they're upset. And that's where we leave the episode. It is really cool to see, like, another aspect to the whole kaiju thing of, like, yeah, they're monsters, yeah, they hurt stuff, yeah, they can do all that kind of stuff, because all that, like, yeah, they destroy the city and everything, but this is like, no, the kaiju is just trying to protect its kid. If we don't hurt the kid, the kaiju won't do anything. Similar to how the one thing just like, keep the shrine in and it's fine, you know? Like, it's that very kind of, don't mess with the natural order thing that a lot of Japanese storytelling does. That kind of thing. It's interesting to see. And I'm wondering if they're hinting at Blazar not necessarily being like a wild man, but kind of being more childlike. Is it an innocence? Was the whole vegetable juice Ultraman wanting nutrients or getting Gento? Who knows? Is it Gento? Is it Ultraman thinking like, oh, this tiny human creature needs food, right? So I should provide food here. And it's like, okay, what? But there's also some interesting hinting going on at the organization. How the whole thing isn't black and white. How they may go too hard on kaiju without taking the situation into consideration. We've seen that again with the one with the temple and the shrine and all that kind of stuff. But we also see that, like, sometimes, like last episode, the aliens are remorseful. They don't want to fucking destroy shit because it's like, oh, no more music. Like, they learned humanity, and it's just like empathy and all that stuff, and they're just like, we're kind of doing this as like our last thing, and we're sad about that. And it's just like, there's a lot more gray in these kind of things than one might initially say there could be, and I don't think the boss man is happy with that. And I think he's just like, no, dead kaiju, the only good kaiju's a dead kaiju kind of thing, you know? Overall, this was a really good episode. I really, really enjoyed it. Overall, banger. And this series seems to be heading in a lot of interesting directions. And I think that's it for this video. And I hope I won't be as glitchy next time. Till next time. It's time to blast into Blazar, baby! Things are definitely starting to heat up with this show, because we're now starting to ask questions of just what is Blazar? What's his deal? What is Blazar doing, right? And now we're getting to the point where Gento's, like, trying to deal with it and just go, like, I am in over my head. There's too much at play here. And seeing that kind of play out, because we open up this episode with the team basically going like, yo, what happened to Ultraman last episode? You know, Ultraman and Gento arguing about what's going on. We should be a little bit concerned with Ultraman. Can we trust him, right? Also, it has been pointed out that basically it is Ultraman kind of doing the holding back, no, let's not kill them, doing all the wacky stuff, because it is that side of him, that side of the body, because of the flare on the Ultraman version. That's where the eye lights up. So it is Ultraman going like, no murder, that kind of thing, right? and Gento's trying to figure out and deal with it. But there's not a super ton of time to deal with it in the first place, because a meteor's coming, and it might be something fucky, you know? They gotta deal with it. Gento fucking contemplates Ultraman. It's just like, Jesus fucking Christ, what am I gonna do with this thing? As they gear up to fight this possible kaiju. And the big heads are in the office, keeping an eye on it, going like, alright, let's see if this works. Because we've had results, but they've been faltering lately. This new kaiju slowly starts to descend on the Earth's atmosphere. Earth Garon readies its laser into fire at it. They do fire, but the kaiju lands. It's a big starfish-looking motherfucker. It's cool looking. I dig the design. As always, I much more prefer the non-human-esque designs. I really like this design. I really like the movement they were able to get with the arms and the legs. It looks great. A big fight with Ultraman. They try, no, not Ultraman. Get Earth Garon. They try to do it. And, the kaiju starts to unleash an EMP. And Gento's just like, move, move, move. We get in the way so Earth Garon doesn't get hit. They make a valiant effort, but Earth Garon does get hit and lands in a lake. As basically Blazar goes like, alright, coach, let me help. And Gento thinks about how it failed how they couldn't agree last time. But this time, he basically goes like, oh, fuck, I don't have any more options. They try to have a battle. They try and fight the kaiju. They do okay. Right? But Ultraman stops the ultimate attack and tries to get them out of there from something, and basically jeopardizes the whole thing once more. The big captain general dudes are like, alright, Scarred fucked up. No more Scar. Defund them. All that kind of stuff. As we see Gento in a forest contemplating Ultraman, as the starfish is at a radio place doing another EMP. Everything seems to be just falling apart for this whole crew. It's just not great. Especially because now it seems like Scarred may be dismantled, may be dismissed in its entirety. That's not good, because it seems like they have been one of the major things able to actually deal with the kaiju in its multiple ways. And honestly, I think it's just a big part is like they need to start communicating. And that's been an underlying element of this season this entire time, of like communication. The first kaiju from the very first episode, they weren't able to beat it efficiently because they miscommunicated. They needed to learn the myth of the village and that one earth giant like tortoise kaiju, right? They needed to get the information on the sea slug one. They needed to learn about the professor and all that kind of stuff. The aliens from the episode before learned to communicate with art and emotion and empathy and all this kind of stuff. It's all about communication. And Gento's been going by pure gut feeling with Ultraman, and it's worked to a point, but now him and Ultraman are disagreeing on things, and they need to form a actual bridge of communication to understand where each of them is coming from. Because I'm pretty sure, like, they could. And it's just like, that's the core element of this season. It's just like understanding each other and coming together and communicating. I love how so many tokusatsu shows are just about communication right now. And honestly, here's the question. Last episode showed that the kaiju are like animals and they'll protect their kids. Some kaiju are like spirit entities. Some kaiju are being controlled by malicious intent. How do you truly deal with a problem like kaiju? is it just by pure decimation and destroying them? Or is there other ways? And is that what Blazar is trying to show? It's like, no, we don't have to kill them. There's other ways to do this. Or is that what he's forming as an opinion? Like, is he a blank slate and is going like, no, wait, fucking up kaiju like this is kind of crap. Maybe we shouldn't, you know? Who knows? Overall, this was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. Ultraman, I'm an Ultraman fan now. It's good. It's good. Yeah. Till next week. It's time to blast into Blazar, and it seems like a lot of things are just falling apart for this entire crew. And they have so far been unable to beat the Starfish. But what will happen now as we see the crew reconvene in their little headquarters, as we're getting a dressing down from the dude, just basically saying, like, do your fucking job, and pointing out that while technically we, the audience, understand, like, yeah, Ultraman is Gento and they're working together and all that kind of stuff, to the officials, they haven't succeeded once. They have not successfully circumvented a kaiju once, and that's not a great record, right? So they're trying to figure out how to deal with this new Starfish thing, and they're developing this whole big plan, and they're getting this idea, they're getting all these different crews parts together, and Gento just looks at Blazar and goes like, I feel like I cannot trust you, and he puts him in a locker and goes like, alright, let's do the plan, and they're executing the plan. It's all going really, really well, all to plan, all to everything, and Earth-Garon gets to fighting all this stuff, right? And Earth-Garon's trying, but it's just not working quite well, right? They figure out how to beat the EMP thing anyway, too, as Gento kind of, like, recognizes what Blazar was trying to do this whole time, and just kind of goes like, oh, you were trying... Okay, I have imparted my belief that everyone should be able to make it out, all these different little bits and bobs. I understand you now, Blazar, all this kind of different stuff. And the thing pops up on his arm, but he doesn't have the little disc thing, as it breaks through his locker, goes through the wall, and flies through to him, and he transforms into Blazar. They fight for a little bit, and fun thing, the way they beat the EMP is they do like this fun metal rod through that organ, and so Blazar pulls it out, turns it into a sword. Fun sword fight as we beat the kaiju, save the day, and a lot of little things are kind of brought up, because the general guy goes on a call and goes like, all right, time for phase 2, and it's like, what? And Gento goes into the locker room and sees that the wall is busted, and he starts laughing his ass off. This is like, yeah, no, what the fuck did I expect? But to me, that's also just like, oh no, how is he going to cover this now? Like, it's just interesting, and that's how the episode ends, and I absolutely love this episode. It is great, it is wonderful, it is fantastic. Finally, some real communication. Gento's trying to get and understand Blazar. Blazar's working with Gento. They're coming together. They're doing all that. They're understanding each other. And I also just love how Gento is affecting Blazar. Like, Blazar feels like a kid, and Gento's just like a good role model for him. Because Gento's just like, no, we don't leave people behind. We protect people. All this kind of stuff. And Blazar's taken that to its most logical extreme, because, like, Ultramen aren't kaijus, but they're kaiju-like within this show. And so Blazar is going like, oh, this is just a mom and a kid just trying to fucking live their life. Like, why don't we try and, like, help them? You know, he's making those connections because he sees it through Gento, and he sees his family, and it's like, oh, yeah, no. And now finally Gento's, like, understanding that level, and it's really neat. It's really cool. The sword is fun. I think it looks dope. It's a fun addition to the weapon set. Move set. It's neat. And I like how, like, he's just being a kid with, like, a toy sword, and it's hilarious. What is up with the General Man? Is, like, he more aware of what's going on than he lets on? Is he aware of Blazar? Is he trying to stop Blazar? Is he... Who knows? I don't know, but, like, that last line was, ooh, mysterious. And just what plan is on the horizon for all of this? Overall, this was a really, really good episode. I genuinely adored it. And hey, that kind of wraps it up for today. Till next time, everybody. It is time to blast into Blazar. It is episode 13. It is a recap episode. We just go over some of the elements and plot stuff that we've been dealing with for the past little bit. Kind of like, also just going like, hey, here's some kind of plot points that you need to understand to think about for the future. You know, kaiju from space. That could be a thing, you know. But ultimately, any of the moments that are new for this episode are just very character building. It's Punch Girl and Tech Guy having conversations about like their place in the hierarchy and all that kind of stuff, and just working together while Tech Guy fixes the computer. And then there's a moment from like the Intel Girl and Punch Girl of just like, hey, we're gonna have a lighthearted talk about like, hey, do you have a dude? And I could have swore for a moment there that Punch Girl, the woman with bangs, was gonna go like, yeah, there was an alien cello player. I was like, oh, maybe she had a crush on that dude, like that older guy. And it was like, oh, they didn't do that. Oh, that's fine. It's not the end of the world. I just thought that'd be a cute silly. Meanwhile, Gento and his second in command have like a brief moment where second in command is like, hey, can we trust Blazar? And Gento just kind of stares off in the middle distance and go like, yes, sorta, kinda. And they just have like some neat moments thinking about Blazar, and it's all kinds of neat and stuff. And Gento kind of thinks about his relationship with Blazar and how they've been able to help each other, while he picked some fun at Punch Girl because she fell asleep at her computer, messed up the document she was working on, and made a bunch of cute little doodles. Overall, great character moments. Fun to see them just interact in an environment that's not like go, 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 monster, monster, monster. So overall, pretty neat episode. It's time once again for Blast into Blazar. So last week, really quick, short recap episode, did get us more of a chance to see some of our favorite characters interact in some neat and unique ways. But we have a brand new episode, and we need to get into it, because we see everybody at the base just prepping and getting ready for what's ever to come, as they do see just some information just coming up. They're just going like, all right, we got to figure things out, right? Meanwhile, Information Girl, I can't remember her name. I'm really bad at this. I cannot remember. You know what it is? On the Kamen Rider shows that are released weekly, I have comments telling me the characters' names and using the characters' names. I haven't had any of that for Blazar, so I'm just going by like characteristics, except Gento. So it's second in command, Tech Guy, Karate Girl, Info Girl. So Info Girl is doing some hackers shit, Angelina Jolie baby, trying to get some information. While we got a new kaiju on the loose. He's a flying dude. So Earth Garon's flying up, trying to get close, but flying kaiju's too fast. Earth Garon cannot catch up. They go like, all right, let's land down, regroup, figure out what we can do. Meanwhile, their fucking superior officer's just like, what the fuck are you doing? Why didn't you chase him? We did chase him. We weren't fast enough. Well, why didn't you shoot at him? Because it wouldn't have worked. Like, I do not like how this guy is managing Scarred. It's just like, what, do you want them to be suicide fucking missions? Is that what you want these guys to do? I'd much rather them be safe and cautious when trying to deal with a fucking kaiju, you know? But but none of the superiors are taking that into consideration. Guy's leaving, and Info Girl's just like, hey, I have information. Fuck you. Fuck you. You know? And the guy's just like, don't look into that. It'll break your heart. They're trying to figure out a plan, and they figure out, like, oh, the flying guy's been bouncing between, like, a bunch of different cloud areas. And, like, maybe we can predict by looking at the upcoming weather where the guy will be. And it's like, oh, yeah, no, that's a cool idea. Makes sense. It's animalistic and all that kind of stuff, and it vibes with everything. Info Girl is trying to get more and more information. And Scarred is like, their plan is coming to fruition. Like, it is working. Like, they are being able to predict it because they are able to see remnants of the last kaiju from its last spots, and are going like, all right, cool. Let's can we run some like models on where the next cloud would be? And they go like boop boop beep beep boop boop. And yeah, no, it's heading that way. Okay, cool. We'll meet him at the pass. We'll head over there. Info Girl, who has been dealing with information all this time, is able to finally get in contact with a person who is at a facility that apparently her dad was in charge of, where he died. And she goes like, okay, cool. I've been looking for my dad. I've been looking for dad shit. Tell me what's up. And he goes like, you tell me what's up. Like, you found all the information. You tell me what's up. And Info Girl is just like, all right, cool. And she lays out everything of like, my dad was here. You were part of it. All these different kinds of things where you were researching something. And he's like, you got it pretty close. I can fill in some gaps. Something happened. We weren't sure. Captain Gento was part of our security detail. I'm not entirely sure what happens next. Keep looking into it. All this kind of stuff as he walks out the gym, because it's all taking place in gym, which I think is an interesting concept of like the old guys just exercising and just trying to maintain shape. Meanwhile, the flying kaiju is up. They're fighting, engaging with it. Earth Garon is trying its hardest to do it, but dang it, the targeting system immediately taken off. And they're and they keep firing at the kaiju to make it stay within the area so it doesn't go supersonic somewhere else. They're trying to keep it located in that area so they can beat it. They're trying to do all the things. Captain Gento goes like, all right, hey, naked caveman buddy, let's do this. He goes out, turns into Ultraman, and they fly up. And basically, Earth Garon and Ultraman go back and forth. They beat the guy. Ultraman uses his sword, and he flies off. And they save the day, right? But there are so many more questions up in the air for all of this, as Info Girl basically asks Captain Gento, like, hey, what happened there? And he's like, Look, I went in to try and save some more people, and I don't exactly know what happened. I was just there security. And she's like, okay. And now she's trying to sneak into the place where all that happened, and it's abandoned, but it's being guarded. And the general dude is there, and he goes like, hey, don't look into this. Stop this. And she just goes, no, my dad was involved with this. He is dead and or missing. I'm going to get to the bottom of this. As the general guy just looks like, fuck, I have to deal with an upstart, headstrong, young Japanese woman. Gah! This episode is really, 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 really good. Just conspiracy abound. What is going on? Because they were studying, like, oh, alien kaiju coming in, it's a part of an invasion. Do they know about the invasion? All these different kinds of things. So what were they doing? Were they experimenting on kaiju? Were they experimenting on Blazar? Because Blazar was there, and Gento saves Blazar. Was they experimenting on that? Were they trying to summon an Ultraman? Because they knew about Ultraman, right? So that may be whole kind of kit and caboodle in there. And now I'm thinking, oh, maybe the dad was involved. Did Blazar know her dad? Were they friends before Gento showed up? Or is this some, like, weird, fucky version of Ultraman? Is that her dad? Did he get turned into, like, a big fucking Ultraman? I'm not saying that happened, I'm throwing bananas at the wall, you know what I mean? And just how does all of that relate to the alien kaiju? Is it, oh, we found this information and we're trying to intercept it, or hey, we found this plan, we're engaging with it to acquire more power? What is involved in here, right? Just how does the organization know? Is there like a betrayer to the aliens? Is there a human betrayer for the aliens? How is this working out? And like I said, are they letting it happen to amass more power? Are they letting it happen because the aliens promised them power? So many of this could be a thing. I'm not exactly sure the direction it's going to go. But we definitely have a lot more questions than we have answers. And I cannot wait to see how this show answers them. Till next time, everybody. It's time to blast into Blazar, everybody. It's episode 15, and boy howdy was this an adorable episode as we see basically a rapscallion group of Youngians, one of which being Gento's kid, is walking home from school one day. They run into like the weirdo art kid. A couple of them go like, oh, it's the weirdo art kid. And Gento's kid is like, oh, okay, whatever. Art guy comes up and goes like, hey, you want to see something fucking cool? And takes him to a little secret base and shows him all his art. And it's like, oh, this is kind of cool. He encourages Gento's kid to draw a monster. He draws a little kaiju, and we see a little cute little critter, right? As we get another Gento family moment of the Gento's just like taking a day off. They're at home, and they're just going like, "Hey, do you want to do something today? Hey, son, do you want to do something today?" As the news starts playing, and goes like, "Hey, there's a fucking weird little white critter running around," and the son recognizes like, "Oh shit, that's the monster I drew. Fuck, something's going on." And he just goes like, I said I thought I'd go hang out with a friend. And Gento's like a little disappointed. It's just like, oh, I thought, okay. You know? He goes talk to the... so Gento's kid talks to the art kid. They're trying to find the little dude. They're failing, and they finally get it. And a fucking art guy's sister comes in and goes like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And they lie horribly, and she finds out that it's a little kaiju that they drew, right? It's a little adorable. And the special crew talks to Captain Gento and go like, "Hey, there's kaiju things, something's happening." And Gento's like, "Oh, should I come into the office?" And they're like, "No, it's your day off. Relax." Sorry about that. I bumped my mic. We'll inform you of anything that needs to happen. And then there's the fucking Zoom meeting joke, where he doesn't realize he's still on the call. He stands up and he's in his boxer shorts. It's like, yeah, that's cute. That's fun. You know, it really makes our hero kind of like very human. As the kids basically do the ET thing. They just hang out with a little critter and just have a good old time, because it's a soft little kaiju critter that's just like fun to hang out with. And they go like, yo, I drew him on one piece of paper and he's like this size. What if I drew him on more pieces of paper and he got bigger? And they're like, oh, dude, you're so smart. So they draw him on bigger paper to see if he gets bigger, right? And they come back the next day and yeah, he's bigger. They get ran off by a guy who's going like, you're not supposed to be here. He showed up earlier in this episode, right? So they're hanging out with the little fucking giant kaiju thing, like it's the size of a couch. And a bunch of other kids come up and start petting it, and they go like, what the fuck? Hey, the reason we said you could hang out with us is because we told you not to tell anybody. And she was like, I didn't tell anybody. I posted it on the internet. That's telling everybody. So they hang out with the kids, and they hang out with the critter. And it's the end of the day, and they're just having a quiet little moment going like, oh man, I kaiju friends fucking great. As a bunch of adults are going like, Jesus fucking Christ, it is kids, it is a kaiju, we need to call the fucking defense force about this. And the kids are immediately like, no, stop, no. right? The whole ET thing. And they go like, you know what? Fuck the adults for trying to take away our friend and hurt him. Because the creature disappears regularly because it only has so much energy. So they go like, you know what? We're going to make him giant. So they go to a baseball field and take sticks and draw the kaiju in the dirt to make a giant drawing of the critter so it can be a giant ass kaiju. And guess what? It shows up. And they're like, oh, fuck. They're trying... And ultimately, it's not doing anything because it's not that kind of kaiju. It's just like a big fucking cuddly creature, right? And what they're just doing is like, alright, we'll figure out what to do with it later because it's not hurting anybody. Let's just evacuate people. But the kids are going like, no, we need to... a friend! Because the Defense Force people are coming in and trying to fucking kill the creature. It's like, hey, it's in the middle of the fucking road. What do you... Drop missiles on it. But the missiles bounce off and cause a bunch of damage. And the kids are right there. Trying to go like, no, our friend! And then Captain Gento goes like, shit, my son! He transforms into Ultraman, goes out there, and starts bam, 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 beating on the kaiju. And nothing's helping, nothing's working. It's just bouncing off everything. And the kids are going like, why are you being mean to our friend? It's funny, it's cute, it's adorable. Blazar makes a little fucking crane game and grabs it and puts it out somewhere else just so it can like just spend the rest of his time, you know. He just slaps it every once in a while. It's hilarious. And eventually it's like everything kind of comes together and Ultraman goes like, oh shit, you're big, you're cumbersome, but you're about to go away, so I'm gonna carry you off into the sunset. The kids say their farewells to the giant creature, and all's well that seemingly ends well, right? But we do see a little fucking jibbity jabbity constellation of the kaiju in the sky. Is kind of like a last little, hey, I had fun, remember me. As Art Kid and his sister basically go like, yeah, we just wanted to have some fun with friends here because our parents are about to move to America. We have to go. We're about to move to America, and we were sad. And thank you for hanging out with us these last few days. And Gento's kid's like, yeah, no, I'll miss you guys. And they you know, all that kind of stuff. And Gento and his wife come and find the kid. It's like, oh my god, you're safe, thank God. Fuck. And basically, they realize, hey, we should do something as a family. We should really genuinely do something together. And it's cute, it's adorable, it's a great family moment. And that's the episode. This whole episode was an absolute and utter delight. The kids were adorable enough. The voice acting for the kids was childlike, but it wasn't annoying. None of the kids were sickeningly sweet, annoying kind of like kid archetypes. But it is a classic kid and their monster movie. It's E.T. It's something like that, right? But it's short, it's sweet, it's to the point, and it's with a big, giant, cuddly creature. But they also, great point, they didn't make, like, Gento and his wife, like, idiots or overprotective. They didn't make the parents, like, assholes to make the kids seem more sympathetic. It's just like, no, the parents are worried, but they let their kids go out and play and do all that kind of stuff. This was just an absolute joy, top to bottom, all the way down. Also, this is a cute-ass kaiju. There should be some plushies of it. Also, I just want to point out, that kid was wearing a goddamn Florida sweater. Why? Why? I don't know. I thought that was funny. This was a really good episode of Blazar. Go watch it. Till next time, peoples. It's time to blast into Blazar once more with episode 16. We opened this guy with a bunch of construction workers just fucking opening up a hole, looking into it, and then all of them screaming their bloody heads off. What the fuck's happening here, right? Well, of course, our crew comes in. They go like, all right, what's going on? Obviously, something's going on, right? And so they interview the guys, and each of them say they saw something completely different. And everyone's going like, that's weird. They make a composite sketch of the possible kaiju, and it's a goofy looking abomination, and it's hilarious, right? And so they go like, all right, something's going on here. We need to stake out. We need to stake out here, see what's going on. And everyone's like, all right, cool. So the first ship happens, and the co-captain, the vice captain dude, right? He's like, oh, I have my theories. What if it's like a gas leak and people are hallucinating? It's like, all right, cool. So he goes out with his little device and checks, and it's like, oh, there's no gas. Huh, that's weird. He looks into the hole, flash of light, and he starts screaming his head off. It's like, oh, something's going on here, right? The tech guy comes out and goes like, whoa, yo, you okay? What's wrong? And he just starts babbling about a bean cake, right? Oh, it's bean cakes. It's bean cakes. And you're going like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it turned, and like they're going like, what's going on here? Something weird is happening, right? So the next day, the monster decides to come out, and it flashes the three who were just talking about, the three, the tech guy, Gentaro, and Karate Girl. I can't remember her name. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with me? I should remember her name by now. I don't, and it's a shame on my part. Hear a noise coming from the hole, and they go out and check it, and the giant monster comes out, and each of them sees something different. Karate Girl sees a giant bug. Tech guy sees the alien creatures from that one episode previous. You know, the ones that are like, technology hates you, really. You know, those guys. And Gento sees Earth Garon destroyed and decimated. It's like, oh. And he goes like, wait a second, that's not really happening. I know where all that stuff is. What's going on here? He takes a second, breathes. He opens his eyes back, and it's just a weirdo mole creature just going like, you know? And it's like, oh, okay, the mole does something. It gets away. Everyone else is now in the hospital trying to deal. And like they're going like, all right, how are we gonna solve this? Well, the whole time they've been talking about in this episode, talking about a new AI helper companion thing for Earth Garon, and Gento goes like, hey, I think you need to take that on a fucking test drive and get over here. And it's like, all right. So they do the whole situation. Everyone's in place to go help out, beat the kaiju, right? It's a fun fight with the fun kaiju and with the neat tongue thing. And eventually she gets blasted with the fear light, which they give an explanation for what the fear light does. It makes you see things you're afraid of. And it turns into her, which is weird. We'll talk about that in a moment. And then Ultraman shows up. He does the thing. They fight. They have this whole big, cool battle. You know, how these things work. How these things happen. There's a neat moment where Ultraman closes his eyes, like blind samurai style, and fights off the kaiju, beats him down. And they win. They succeed. They save the day. Right? And everyone's just like... And everyone laughs and smiles at the end like it's a good, wholesome family show, which it is. This was a really fun idea for an episode. It's full on just Twilight Zone idea of like, what if a monster showed you your greatest fear? That's neat. I love the monster design. It's fun. It's cute. Like, it is not a threatening monster. It's a cute monster, and I like that because... It is a monster that like tries to force you to be afraid of it instead of it just being creepy. It's just like, hey, I can tell, you know. Also, I love seeing more of the characterization from the team of just seeing their fears. Right, some of them, of course, are simple and a little bit silly. Like, yeah, she's afraid of bugs. Oh, it's creepy bugs. Oh, he's afraid of a weird food that he has like weird problems with. Oh, that's cute. That's neat. Because, like, I wouldn't say, like, they're the tough guys of the crew. They are, like, the more capable members. And just kind of give them, like, fun little silly fears. That's neat. That's cute. But others also just, like, explored the characters more, which was cool. The tech guy disliked the tech aliens. He was afraid of them. Like, is he afraid that they were right, that technology doesn't like humanity? Is he afraid of what they could have wrought? What of all these different kinds of things? And the information girl fears herself. What does that mean? Is she afraid of what she's capable of doing to accomplish the goal involving her dad? Is she afraid that she'll hurt people? Is she afraid that, like, of self-harm in a certain way? Of like, oh, she's going headlong into a situation and she's not sure she can come out of it? That is an interesting and fascinating thing to think about. And Gento fundamentally fears letting his team down and them being destroyed and not being able to protect people. And that says a lot about that guy. It's just like why he is so ready and headlong into trusting Ultraman, of just like, you are capable and able to help me protect people. I don't care where you're from. We're working together. And I think that's admirable, you know? That's a neat heroic trait for a character to have. And overall, this episode was fantastic. I loved it. Blazar is good. And I think I'm just gonna watch more Ultraman. Keep an eye out for all of that. Till next time. It is Blast Into Blazar time, and we are talking about episode 17. And there is still no overarching story. And I am not complaining. I am just stating that it is what's happening. Ultimately, I'm just pointing this out because it's a little hard to lead in with, well, they've been doing this, because it kind of changes every episode. So what happened this week? Well, a big old kaiju started stomping around the city, not hurting anything, just kind of ghosting through. And it landed on top of a building, and a dude with a sword arm cut it down. And you're going like, what the fuck's going on here? Alright, something's going on, and the crew's trying to figure it out, and they're going over a lot of possibilities. And they go like, okay, let's pinpoint some places and look it up. And Gento is at the place where basically one of the kaiju stopped by, specifically the giant sea slug guy. And it's like, oh, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? As the sword dude shows up and goes like, hey, I'm going to speak like a Shakespearean actor and say mysterious things. And Gento immediately pulls his fucking sidearm and is going like, yo, what, bitch? Gento, American cop. And he goes like, hey, so look, my dude, I understand you're a little wary. The guy in the cloak, not Gento, and goes like, hey, I can explain. Give me a moment. As he turns into a fucking turns into a different alien, and Gento's like, all right, and they go get coffee, and the alien guy's going like, hey, don't worry, they don't see me as an alien, they see me as a dude. And the fact that you see me as an alien just shows like how powerful you are and like how cool you are. And he explains, okay, like I was a little bit of a dickhead back in the day, and I fought this dude, and he gave me a chance to like redeem myself and become a better person. So I got to go around hunting down kaiju ghosts. And Gento's like, ghosts? Yeah, kaiju ghosts. Sorry, they're a thing that happen. And basically, I know the next one's going to be very big, very bad, and it's going to actually be able to cause damage. I need your help. And Gento's going like, okay, this is feeling like a little above my pay grade. And Gento's just like, all right, we'll see what happens. As a kaiju starts attacking, and it is one of the ghosts, and Gento goes like, oh fuck, I gotta go be hero guy. And the sword guy comes up and goes like, hey, what's up? Let's go deal with it. And Gento's just like, what the fuck are you talking about? And the guy basically starts sizing up everything and just going like he might as well have licked his finger and checked the wind. He goes like, all right, puts on some goggles, grabs Gento, and just chucks the man. Fastball special, chucks the man into the fucking atmosphere, and they land where they need to be. And they're going like, all right, we got to fight this ghost kaiju. So they do. Blazar comes up. They have a fun big battle with some great miniature work being used for vehicles in the set location. They team up. the sword guy imbues Blazar's sword with some special juice to be able to fight the ghost. They fight the ghost off. They're able to beat it, but the ghost basically possesses sword guy. So Ultraman Blazar and the sword guy, I can't remember his name, have to have like a little samurai duel, and legit, they do the both cut at the same time, one blows up thing, and it's great. And they're going like, oh no, did Blazar kill him? And it's like, no, Blazar turned his sword so it hit with the blunt edge. And it's just like, fucking hell, I love this shit. It's so fun. It's so goofy. But they save the day. And they're back at the coffee shop, and the sword guy and Kento are having like a moment of just like, hey, okay, cool. And sword guy goes like, so I found out I'm a ghost. And that was the last thing I needed to do before I could move on. And Gento seeing was like, oh, this is a moment, and we were able to like work together and be friends for a moment. He's able to actually say, hey, my name's Gento. Because he's like, that's classified, I can't tell you that. Earlier in the episode, he's like, I'm Gento. And then guy passes on, it's like, thank you. And it's a bittersweet moment. It's just like this dope ass alien dude who helped out Blazar and was a badass having to pass on. Goddamn, Toku making me got me crying in the club tonight. This was so fucking good. Genuinely, this has been my favorite episode of Blazar. I love the samurai alien dude. I love the characterization. I love the alien suit. It looked cool. It looked dope. I love the reuse of older kaiju suits. Stretch that dollar, show. You did a great story with a ton of reuse. I love the miniatures. God damn, that little dump truck was adorable. It was great. It made everything feel more integrated. I was so immersed, you know? Like, I love when miniatures make the kaiju feel big and Ultraman feel integrated in the world. It's not just a set, you know? The story was also amazing. It's a ghost story without being too spoopy and scary. I love how they treated the twist of like, oh, he was dead the whole time. It wasn't treated as like a twist. It was treated as like a, oh, bittersweet moment. And yeah, I also love how it's just like this one dude who could totally get Gento. Like, they could work together, be friends, whole thing, and like understands the whole Blazar element and everything. And like, they could just be total bros. But it's sad because he has to leave. It's sad because he can't be there, you know, because he's already passed away. Ah, that's so good. And the fight scene was rad as balls. The swords and all, it was just great. So, again, as an Ultraman newbie, was this dude based on an older alien ally? Is this just like a common thing of just like sword-based alien allies? Because I know for lack of a better way of describing it, the Ultraman spin-off, SS Gridman, there is alien allies and they work together. But I don't know if is that an Ultraman thing, or is this just like a fun one-off ally dude? Overall, fantastic episode, amazing episode. I really enjoyed it. This is top tier Toku. It is time to blast into Blazar as we open on a bunch of goddamn worms popping out of the ground going like, yo, what's up? I'm a worm. We then cut to a news broadcast where they're going like, yeah, these worms, they sure do be stinky. They are releasing gases that we don't like. So everybody's masking up and all that kind of stuff. Gento's like wearing a full-on respirator, which is like, yeah, you know the full ramifications of that. Good on you. He gets home, and it's the kind of it's the Disney dad thing. It's like, oh, you're doing so much work, but your son misses you. And Gento's like, fuck, I miss my son. And the wife goes like, hey, your son made this. It'd probably mean a lot to him if you wear it. And it's just, I wouldn't say badly done, but it's those little craft projects that teachers do for kids, that teachers give kids to do for their parents. You know, it's one of those. It's string and plastic beads and all that kind of stuff. As it turns out that the worm creatures are part of that big space conspiracy that we've been seeing in the background recently. It's like, ooh, plot development, as their CEO basically goes, hey, you're off this. You're not dealing with this. We'll deal with this. Fuck yeah. And everyone's just like, okay, so we're just dealing with it because they're in over their head, right? Yeah. As Information Girl goes like, hey, I may have a lead on something, so I'm gonna go chase it, right? And because, like, hey, we're not supposed to be fighting these things. We'll kind of be on call, you know. So Gento's supposed to be heading home, and the worms start acting up, and Gento sends a text that's like, hey, I'm gonna have to be busy. And the wife is like, ah, shit. And it's kind of like, ah, fuck, you understand why, but it sucks. So they develop a plan, they're figuring things out. Information Girl confronts the lead, and he's like, fuck off, I don't know. That is bad memories, bad, no, I don't want to think about that. As basically, they realize that the regular force are not being able to handle the worms. So Earth Garon goes to try and fight the worms, as Gento helps save people that are in the crossfire. And it's like, oh, hell yeah, he's doing cool helping people shit things, right? Once he gets enough people off to safety, he goes like, all right, cool, time to turn into Blazar. He turns into Blazar, he starts wrestling a worm. Giant man wrestles worm. That's a Dojin right there. Of course, they are able to fight it off, do the whole thing. Bang, bam, boom, boom. As Information Girl gets contacted by the dude who's like, fuck off, and he's like, hey, I may have some information for you, and the whole thing. And it turns out Gento's kid isn't as mad with Gento anymore, because he saw his dad wear the bracelet in a news broadcast as he was saving people. And the kid goes like, my dad's doing good shit, and I'm proud of my dad, and I'm sad I don't get to see him often, but like, he is doing good things. As the old man, the Information Girl fucking ran into several episodes ago, is just like, the wheels are turning and gears be grinding, and my bones are old. As the episode ends, oh boy, do I love Tremors. It's just fun designs. But it feels very, I wouldn't say evocative of Tremors. It's nothing like Tremors. It's just giant worm creatures. But yeah, the conspiracy is rearing its big, giant head. I wonder, is the organization like prepping Earth for the alien invaders? Are they hoping to use the alien invaders as like weapons? Is this an alien situation? Who knows? But like, something's going on, and it ain't pretty. I love the use of the family. It's tapping into those like family trouble, family friendly movie situations, but not in a way that feels like the dad is a bad guy, or like everybody's on the up. No one's bad. It's just the world is in danger, and this guy is the only guy who can fucking save it by being Ultraman, and it kind of sucks. This does feel like it's the really big start of like some big shit starting to unravel and roll downhill and starting affecting our characters. Cool fight. It's fun to see trying to fight something that's not a giant thing in a suit, of just a puppet. It's interesting. Yeah, I love the little snake dudes. They're cute. But till next time, I hope you enjoyed this blast into Blazar, episode 18. We are speeding along down the highway of Ultraman. We're on episode 19. We're gearing towards the end as Gento and Information Girl Eri, E-R-I, I think I remember her name as being, are having a conversation, just kind of figuring out, because Gento's like in on her plan of like getting information about her dad and everything, of talking to the one science guy, and the science guy goes like, hey, yo, sorry I was a little bit of a dick. Things are just fucking conspiracy crazy wackadoo. Here's your dad's locket. with a picture of you and the wrong birthday. And Gento goes like, whoa, wrong birthday? That's kind of weird. And she goes like, no, it's this whole big thing. It was an inside joke with me and my dad. It's the birthday of a big science guy. My birthday's tomorrow. And Gento's like, oh shit, your birthday's tomorrow? Oh, happy birthday, Jesus. As we continue on to the next day, the giant worm things are continuing to fuck shit up, and it is not good. Not good at all. And everything is just being crazy as the commanding officer is going like, hey, look, don't fucking do this. Like, you're off. Everything's bad. Blazar keeps saving your ass. You haven't succeeded in anything. And basically all the MEP team goes like, my dude, we've been working with Blazar. Like, yeah, he's not officially part of the team. We've been treating him like part of the team. It's not he's been saving our ass. We've been working together. They are just going like, we are Jim Gordon, he is Batman. And Gento literally, like, is going like, yeah, no, we've been doing that. Commanding officer's like, whatever. As situation keeps getting worse and worse, Earth Garon goes out to deal with it. The whole team is deployed to deal with it as Gento transforms into Ultraman. As Eri is trying to get more and more information with the whole situation with her dad. She breaks into that building, is able to get deep in, and she finds this whole big weird science stuff as like a phoenix dragon god thing starts trying to get out, and her dad shows up, and she's like, what the fuck? My dad's dead. And it's just like, hey, we need to open the door. And like they work together to open the door to let the creature out to go help Blazar. And Blazar like teams up with it. I wouldn't say fuse, but like Blazar gets a power up super firearm. It's dope. They beat back the kaiju, and Eri gets to have one moment to say goodbye to her dad, and it's very sweet. And they realize, oh wait a second, that wrong birthday is actually a code to get into a lockbox and a bank of her dad's journal, just getting all this cool information. As the old guy, old man conspiracy dude just shows up and goes like, hey, thank you, we've been trying to get into there. This is, fuck you, we're stealing this. And it's just like, what the fuck? What the fuck kind of conspiracy bullshit? Also, fuck you for taking the last remnants and mementos of a girl's dad. Boy howdy, we are full steam ahead. What is going on? How is this all going to wrap up? What is all these aliens' plans of just like working together? What is it? What is the organization's plan? Why are they letting the aliens do this? Why does it categorize them a certain way? What is in that book that they needed so bad? Is it a way to control the aliens and turn them into bioweapons? Maybe that's just a cynical American in me. Maybe it is figuring out the plan. Maybe those aliens are here not for purely nefarious, weren't here originally for purely nefarious reasons, and through their experimentations, it became nefarious. You know, like maybe they were here to like, hey, we're here to like help you, and they were just like, experiments, and now they're here for like revenge or something. I don't know. That's just off the top of my head. What is the old guy's plan? What is going on? It's so many mysteries up afoot. I love the new power-up arm. It's really cool. It's a neat way to have like it really changes the vibes up. And I also love Gento just being very much like an older brother figure to Eri. That's fun. I enjoy that a lot, of just seeing like this. I like seeing all the different ways that he's a very like protective character. Him being a dad, him being protective of his team, him being protective of the friends he makes, like the sword ghost kaiju dude, and being like older brother to Eri. It's just like, that's fun. Eri getting information, getting a moment with her dad at that last moment is nice, and it also is kind of reflective because it's a giant firebird, so it's like a phoenix rising from the ashes. So like the last moments of his life is able to help out. That's nice. That's fun. Overall, this was a really, really good episode. Bomb ass Blazar. Just what is happening? What is going on? it's not even just like, oh, like, I am confused. It's just like, I need to know the next plot line. I need the next episode. Where is this going? Kind of storytelling. I really enjoy it. Till next time. It is time to blast into Blazar, episode 20. Oh boy. I wonder what happened this time after everything that happened in the last episode. I bet we're gonna get so much plot development. Oh, it's completely unrelated, and it's about giant fun bugs? Hell yeah. Let's fucking look at the giant bugs. Because we open up at Scarred, they have basically... There's a little bit of connection. I was fibbing a little bit. That because of Blazar being so effective, they have basically been not relegated. They've been given the punishment task of doing PSA skits for a variety of schools and school children. Recently, as the vice captain gets a call that his dad's been hurt, that dad fell, and he needs to go help out and go see him. He heads back home, and it was all a ruse. They lied to him because they were like, hey, maybe you should settle down and get married. And they present him with a marriage interview, and he's like, I don't know. I don't want this. Stop. And we have a conversation between the brothers as the vice captain's like doing I don't know what the exact name for it is, but you've seen it in Japanese media. There is a little shrine to a past family member, and they say they do a little ritual. They say their prayers, all that kind of stuff. As basically the brothers have a conversation that's more or less, I don't mind you wanting me to be happy. I don't mind you wanting me to be safe. I don't even mind the marriage interview. I hate that you lied to me to get me here. That's what I don't like. And he's like, yeah, it's understandable, but like, you are so busy, you are so wrapped up in this stuff that it feels like you aren't taking anything for yourself. And it's also like, you are doing your own thing, and it'd be fine if like you were like taking it for yourself and being part of the family business, but you're away. It's just like, it's a lot of little things, you know. As some people come by and say like, hey, this dude's field got fucked up. The vice captain knows a mystery when he hears one, so he goes and checks out the field. He then starts exploring the forest with his dad. They run across a cave that wasn't there a bit ago, and they're like, oh shit, that's a fucking cave. And the vice captain's like using his phone, zooming in, checking it, and some light shows up, and a monster just comes chasing it after them, and they're like, oh shit, fuck. That's absolute fuck. They run away for a little bit, and vice captain contacts Captain Gendo and says like, hey, we got a kaiju thing in my hometown. Here's the video. Gather up everything. Get ready. And you know, there's a brief moment of like, well, aren't we supposed to be practicing for the skit? We're not supposed to be going out there. And Captain Gento goes, I know a way around that. What is it? It's the best fucking line. We ask for forgiveness. Based off the idiom, it is better to beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. We beg for forgiveness. You know, I think it's cute. It really shows how the team is like very focused on their ideals and how they're very good guys. As basically, there's a brief moment of the guy and the dad having like, hey, I care about you, son. I just worry about you. I want you to be safe. I want you to be healthy. And son's like, yeah, but like, this is important. What I'm doing is important. As more of the fucking human-sized bugs just start coming out of the woodworks and attacking, as immediately Scarred's already there, fucking guns up, going like bang bang, just helping out, saving the day, being effective, like hell yeah. as the town is basically being evacuated and put into shelter at the vice captain's family's residence, as Scarred is developing a game plan on how they can deal with the thing. They realize that the mountain is basically their nest. They need to dismantle the nest entirely. All this kind of stuff. And they start working on the plan. Earth Garon goes in, starts storming up the bugs. The couple people are at the other cave entrance, ready to go in case they start escaping. A lot of interesting nooks and crannies. The queen of the bugs, I'm assuming it's a queen. It's a bug-themed kaiju. The big one's probably a queen. Bursts out, starts attacking Earth Garon. It's a big old fight. It turns out that the reason why the fields were being depleted is that the bugs sucked up all the nitrogen in the soil to use it for a weird special goo spray. It's like, oh shit. Captain Gento goes like, all right, time for Blazar. Blazar pops out. They fight for a little bit. And Blazar gets glued to the ground. He activates the power-up. He busts out, does the whole thing. But the vice captain has a big old hero moment where he realizes, oh shit, they've been using cicada-like sounds to communicate. So if we play those on all the city council speaker kind of things, it'll confuse everybody and we'll have an easier chance of beating them. So they do that plan. All the bugs are confused. Blazar is able to get the upper hand and beat the giant queen, as the vice captain rigs up his phone to his block of C4, throws it at the giant nest. All the creatures are going towards the noise, and he blows up the nest. They save the day. Everybody's saved. The town is thankful. Scarred is punished even more so because they missed the skit play that they had to do. So now they have to do it across all the country. The dad has more respect for the vice captain, as we see an epilogue where the brother and the dad are like working the field, and the dad just takes a second, kneels down, picks up a handful of dirt, and just goes, "This is the land my son fought to protect." This was a pretty damn good episode. Like, I was wanting more and more plot coming after the last one, but this just hits. That last line fucking hits me in a place, you know? I love seeing more of the vice captain. I love seeing him be this very serious character and just, like, very serious yet caring. Like, he is a very caring person to his family, to his teammates, all these kind of things. I love this kaiju design. This is one of the best kaiju, period, of this season. I love this kaiju. I love how they were able to use a big one and little ones. I love the human guys one. It made the crew feel so much more a part of the action. It was great. I love how everything was kind of treated more like a natural disaster. There was a shelter, there was plans, everything was like, it was worked like a natural disaster, which I think was really cool. The idea that the father realizes at the end that someone can like love and appreciate an aspect of their life in different ways. Like, the father is just like, I want to work this land and I want to provide food and all this kind of stuff. And the son's like, and I want to protect this land by just protecting it from evil and big ol' things. I was like, and they reach that connection. That's great. And the sketch idea gag was cute, of them just being punished, of just like, all right, you guys gotta go do a PSA now. That was cute. But this was a really good episode. I am wanting more plot, but I'm okay with this just being here. But what will happen in the future? Who's to say? Who's to know? All that is for next time. It is time to blast into Blazar episode 21, and we are back on the train episodic because we see that they are making some big alterations to Earth Garon, trying to make it much more flight capable, as the guy who's, I can't remember his name, tech guy who's really like passionate about it, all that, is in the pilot seat trying to maintain it, everything. the test is going all right till they get to a certain point and he's not able to handle the stressors, right? And everyone's concerned and all that kind of stuff, and it's like he can't do it. He can't handle that kind of like that pressure, you know, what's the word for it? He just doesn't have the stamina for it. And we see basically it's like, yeah, no, you're not okay to fly it. And he's downfallen by that. He is destroyed by that, because like this is something he's been wanting. He wants to help Earth-Garon. He wants to feel part of the team. He wants to do all this kind of stuff, and like he's not able to. And then right as this kind of stuff is happening, another flying kaiju shows up, and they have to deal with it. Right? Earth-Garon goes up with the karate girl. I say karate girl. She's more than that. A lot of these characters are more than that. I just have a bad memory and can't remember it. And these videos don't have comments regularly where I'm talking to other people to remind me of their names. That's why I can remember the names on the Common Writer reviews, but this one is a little bit harder. But basically, she goes up, she gets knocked out, and they're trying to figure out, rack their brains, how can we beat this guy? And then Gento just goes like, oh, easy. You pilot it, he just gives you the information in the backseat. And they're like, are we sure that will be okay? It's like, yeah, whatever, it's fine. I'm Captain Gento. I make up plans that work, and everyone just has to let me do what I do, because I'm right more often than not. So they go up, they fight, they're able to handle a little bit better. Gento, of course, turns into Ultraman, helps him in the fight, and they're able to beat the flying kaiju. And basically, he's kind of like the guy who's able to help pilot, but it's understanding that he can't handle that specific stressors and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, that was a fun episode. That was a good, fun episode. Always great to see more of the other characters. We got some of that with the bug stuff. But this week we got some with the tech guy, and we got to see some kind of like his struggles and wanting to do things. But it's also like, it is saying is like, hey, it's okay to understand your limits and work within them. Like, he has all the knowledge, he just didn't have the strength to do it. And it's like, it's fine you don't have the strength to do it. You can rely on someone else to help you with that. And work with them, you know, all that kind of stuff. And of course, while the flying scenes aren't the most action-packed stuff, it is really good action. It's really good, it's really solid. Episode 21 of Blazar, pretty good. Blast into Blazar, episode 22. We're still on that episodic train, so just what will happen this week as we open up on two very goofy, very Showa styled kaiju having a little contest, having a little fight. One wins, one loses. We don't know exactly what that means quite yet, but we will in a bit. We then open up on two guys being deathly afraid of a kaiju starting to rampage in the city as a giant lady comes in, and it's actually an ad for kaiju insurance, which is, this whole moment is adorable. I absolutely love it. I love the whole like framing we have into the world that the shows take place in. We get this ad, and then we get the news broadcast, and it just feels very RoboCop. That's the thing I'm thinking of. It's RoboCop, where we see their ads, we see their culture, and we see the world that they're living in. And it's interesting. This is a lot less cynical than RoboCop, but it has that similar vibe. And my immediate thought is, okay, so that's the Kaiju Insurance Agency's like mascot kaiju. That's not a real kaiju. How much you want to bet that there's furries in this Ultraman universe wants to fuck that kaiju? But we see our main character for the episode isn't actually a member of SCARD. It is this Joe Blow, random salary man working for the insurance agency, whose heart is on his sleeve. He's a good guy. He just wants to actually help people. But because of that, he's that earnestness. He often pushes people away when he's trying to sell them on insurance, because who wants to be sold fucking insurance? And there's this young guy in the company who's basically bad-mouthing him, treating him like shit, and goes like, hey man, we're not You gotta keep up with the times, man. As we see Scarred doing Scarred stuff, they're keeping an eye on the monster. Cut back to a salary guy, and his life isn't great. He lives in a crummy apartment. He's getting combini dinners. He forgot his chopsticks, so he can't eat. Is that really a thing? It's like he doesn't. Does he not have any dishes? Does he not own a pair of chopsticks that he can like wash and use? Is that a thing in Japan? I don't know. This guy doesn't have any chopsticks, and he's like, ah, fuck me. He goes back to work the next day. He's late, and he gets reprimanded. The whole 9 yards. He goes out and is like, you know what? I'm gonna go sell some things door to door. He just gets closed on all the time. All the doors closed on him. He goes up to this one very old-fashioned house and this very old-fashioned lady, and he says, like, I am here to sell kaiju insurance, and she actually listens to him for a moment. And it's very clear that she's an old lady, she's lonely, that kind of stuff. This is probably the first time someone's, like, talked to her, right? And as they're talking, her lunch gets burned. And he's like, oh no, you know what? I kept you from being able to fix your lunch. I'm gonna go to the grocery store and grab the new ingredients. And she's like, this is very sweet. And he's like, you know what? I messed some things up for you. Is there anything else I can do for you? And she's like, yeah, you know what? I'm older. It's a little hard. And so he helps with some chores around the house. And she cooks him dinner. And he's like, this is the first time I've had a home-cooked hot meal in forever. And it's just kind of like these two lonely people in the world who find some human connection in this moment. And she's like, all right. She signs the paper. She buys the insurance. And he's just like, you didn't have to do that. And it's like, no, I wanted it. And it's all these different kinds of things. And it's just like this very sweet human moment. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It like, you know how like Shin Godzilla is like very human in what it depicts as like kaiju, of just like, it's this reliance and wanting to fall back on rule and order of bureaucracy that kind of like hinders them. And it's like that very human emotion of just like, I want things to work, please let them work. This feels like another kind of like, I love it when these things deal with the human, and it's very nice, it's very refreshing. As the two Showa-like kaiju start showing up in town and causing some wreckage. And they're like, oh shit. Earth Garon is deployed to fight them off, as the insurance guy realizes, oh shit, they're near the old lady. And he's like, no, I need to go help her. And so he runs out of work and goes to get her. And she's like, hey, you know, I'm old. This may be my time being up. And he's like, no, I am going to save you. I'm going to protect you, because like, you were the you were the most human connection I've had in years, and I'm not gonna throw that away. And it's like, it's very sweet. It's very sweet. Scarred is fighting the kaiju, and it's all in the background. It's just brief flashes of violence that we see as the insurance guy's like, it's faster if I carry you, so he's carrying the old lady, and they're trying to get to the shelter, all this kind of stuff. And in a brief moment, Gento goes out and sees like, oh shit, there's fucking civilians. Alright, cool. Ultraman's up, goes to fight the kaiju, and the insurance guy and the old lady are like, holy shit, it's Ultraman. And it's like this very hopeful moment. They're able to defeat the kaiju in one fell swoop. It's great, it's fun, it's a funny moment, haha. Because they're like hugging and scared. And the call is said like, everything's safe, the kaiju are defeated. They're at the what's the word for it? They're at the safety place. They're at the shelter. And it's just like, hey, you know what? Thank you. With like, the old lady's like, I guess my husband will have to wait. And the guy says like, yeah, I'm sure your husband's fine with waiting. And she's like, why did you do this for me? And he kind of says like, well, all the things I've been going on about. And it's just like, yeah, but I wanted to help. And it's just this very sweet, very wholesome moment. I love this guy. I love this old lady. as basically his kindness is rewarded at his work. Not necessarily like, you saved that old lady, that's good, but more in like a karmic sense of like his clients are realizing like just how much he's going out to bat for them, and they're appreciating it. And this boss is going like, yo, I've been getting a lot of good words from you. That's good. That's great. And he chastises the young guy from earlier on because he's been a little bit of a dickhead. There's even a great moment where he's watching the newscast, the young guy who was being a dick, and going like, what the fuck are you doing, Scar? We have to cover that. And it's just like, oh, you're that dickhead. It's great. It's wonderful. I absolutely love this episode. This was one of the best episodes of this show. Like, this show has been really good, but if there's like one episode to like be able to go back and rewatch, it's this one. It's wonderful. It's amazing. I love seeing more of the world. It's fun to see just how people react to this big cataclysmic change of like, there's kaijus now. What does that mean for human society? It's like, well, we're gonna build insurance agencies around that. We're gonna reflect that. There's going to be designated shelters. It's going to be treated like natural disasters. And it's like all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, no, this fits. This works. It's also really nice to see how other people are just living their life, because we've been seeing the show through Scarred's eyes. And this is just a regular Joe Schmo who just has regular Joe Schmo problems. And it's fascinating to see just the world through that lens. The mechanics of the world, again, the kaiju insurance agency, and Jesus Christ, that main dude and that old lady, just absolute sweethearts. I love them to death. It's wonderful, great. The relationships they built is just heartwarming, of just like, you can build human connections wherever. And the showing that heart and kindness can win over cold-hearted business is also fun. It's nice. It's good. It just warms everything up in your soul. The kaiju stuff was also just fun. It felt like a fun throwback. Big goofy monsters, just being big goofy guys. You know, just a couple goofy guys, just a couple dudes, just a couple bros, just the monkey and the dinosaur. You know. Also, just, oh, wait a second. It is like a Godzilla-like creature and a monkey. I wonder if that was meant to be like a little wink and a nudge reference to the Godzilla Kong universe, the Monsterverse over here in America. Not necessarily saying like it's one way or the other of like, oh, they're bad and stupid and goofy. It's just more of like, haha, monkey and Godzilla. That's a fun combo. Haha. Remember Godzilla versus Kong? That was fun. But yeah, this was an absolute blast of an episode. 100% loved it. Oh boy. Cannot wait to see what comes next. It's Blast Into Blazar time once more. We're talking about episode 23. Been gone for a few weeks, but that is slightly irrelevant because, whatever. I don't know when you're going to be watching this. But we jump in at the sky as we find out that a bunch of these flying kaiju that we've been dealing with for the past few weeks, well, last week specifically, have just been keeping showing up, and it's just like, oh damn, something's happening, something's going on. They're trying to figure it out. Meanwhile, Gento collapses because of exhaustion. He's just pushing himself so fucking hard, right? And the doctor just goes like, hey, you just need to stop. Just stop for a moment. And Gento's like, all right, I'll take a break. You know. And this is all just making me go like, oh no, something's gonna happen into the season that's gonna make me sad. Meanwhile, I can't remember her name. Information Girl. That's the problem with doing this on Patreon originally, is that I don't have people in the comments telling me the characters' names, making me remember. Oh god. But she's getting information from the guy going like, hey, we were looking up at the sky, we found this possible kaiju coming in, can we name it after me? Being kind of a weird, goofy otaku, but not being weird perverty, which is good to see. He's just like really excited. It's like, I discovered something, and they're talking about like, okay, things are happening there. Meanwhile, a bunch of bug kaiju from like earlier in the season have re-emerged and are going after some the power plant things. and they're going like, all right, we gotta figure out a way to stop them. The biggest one is one in Japan, and we can go immediately deal with that. I guess the other countries can just handle it right now because it seems like a lesser thing right this moment. So they go and try and fight them, right? But the situation starts to get worse over in America, and like they can't make it in time for Earth Garon to make it over there. So Gento just basically talks to Blazar and goes like, hey, I know you care about my well-being and that I shouldn't be doing this, but hey, do you want to go do this? And so they transform, they head over to America, they start fighting the kaiju, right? And more information starts to come through, and it's like, oh, wait a second, what? I don't think the earlier in the season when they burst up in the information up into the sky was an accident. I think they're doing that on purpose. I think they might be trying to attack the giant kaiju that's coming to Earth. They're trying to defend it, and they're like, oh shit, maybe we need to do something along the lines. So after a fight scene, after a lot of communication, they bust it open, they break it through, it kind of goes onto the dark side of the moon, all that kind of stuff. The day is saved because the kaiju kind of go away. The commanding officer guy gets reprimanded, everything seems to be wrapped up, but the kaiju didn't die. It's just standing on the moon waiting for its time to get to Earth. The plot is back in full. It is just going full on, hey, remember all this information? Here you go. All the alien kaiju's hitting on the Earth kaiju's defending. That's a neat idea. It's that kind of kaiju as symbolism for nature and all that kind of stuff. It's neat framing. I like it. Gento on his last legs adds some nice personal stakes. It's not just like, oh, can they defeat the kaiju? Can they save the day? It's, oh, can Gento get through it without breaking his like whole shit? And that's neat. And I hope, and when I was going like, oh, is this going to lead to something heartbreaking? I was like, oh, could this be like he self-sacrifices at the end to save everybody? I hope it doesn't go that way, but I could see it going that way, you know? Him being very personal, caring character, you know? And like, I'm starting to think I gathered what maybe the conspiracy is with the government. That like, I feel like the government knew that the alien kaiju were coming, but they've just kept quiet about that. And like the big idea behind it is like they didn't want to tell people to not incite violence or anything. Like they didn't want to cause a panic, but because of that, they're putting their people into possible harm. And I think that's the kind of, again, for kaiju, for this kind of stuff, it's a good little thematic thing to play with. Really good episode, and it feels like a really good start to the ramp towards the end. I genuinely enjoy it. Till next time. We are nearing the end of this series as we are getting in to Ultraman Blazar episode 24. We open it up on our crew just observing that, yeah, no, the kaiju's on the moon. Shotgun, click, click, kaiju's on the moon. And they're just trying to go like, fuck, what the fuck do we do? They realize that the kaiju is planting bombs, planning to basically get the moon out of orbit so it can land on Earth. That old dude gets informed of all this stuff, and he's like, ah, shit, fuck. And Scarred is informed, hey, you're gonna have to make that giant robot like spacefaring, and go on a suicide mission. And all of them are like, fuck. All right, then I guess we're going on a suicide mission. And all of them is just very tense. It's very, there's a lot of dread in the scene, And Gento's just like, hey, Emmy, you're staying here because you're the one who could find out this information, and if we die, get it out to the people so the people know what the fuck happened here. Like, he doesn't say that specifically, but that was my takeaway of the scene. It's very much of like, hey, I know you'd want to be up there with us. Your job's important. You got to get the information in and out, right? And everybody has like 18 hours to kind of just take care of their earthly, like take care of everything. So we get flash like moments that are referencing past episodes of just like beautiful little moments as Gento goes to the general who got sacked last episode for taking the blame for all of them, and he goes like, hey, you know, just they're just trying to wrap everything up. Emmy goes like, I don't know where to get this information. Hey, Earth Garon, the AI that lives in Earth Garon, is there any way you can give me that information? And it's like, technically it's classified. I can't do anything, but there may be an SD card that's just floating around here that may have some information. And Emmy goes to try to decode it, and as Gento has like one last family meal, and then leaves him in the middle of the night because he knows he's probably not coming back, and it's so fucked, man. They all get in Earth Garon, ready to go up to the moon. All the old fucking Warhawks are in the goddamn meeting room, just watching them fly off to their death because they don't care about these people doing it. They just care about the end results. Ultimately, it's very utilitarian kind of ideas. It's like, we can sacrifice 4 people to save all of Earth. It's understandable. But the idea that they would so callously do it that there isn't like a sense of respect for them is just gross. Emmy cracks all the information while some armed guys bust into the van and go like, what the fuck you doing? That's classified information, baby. As Earth Garon gets to the moon and starts fighting the moon kaiju as best it can. It's, of course, not doing the greatest job it can, and then eventually gets hit with a major bomb. And Gento, exhausted, not able to be Ultraman, goes like, hey, Blazar, we gotta do this. We gotta do this. And Blazar's like, yeah, nope. Shit's whack, but we gotta. They transform. Old Blazar's already on red. He is not good. They do the best they can. They try to maintain the moon's orbit as best they can, but it's just not enough. Blazar eventually even goes like, all right, nope. We can't do this. Abort, and drops Gento. Like, they like decouple, like, I don't know if they're like, there's probably not a term, but like, Blazar depossesses Gento, and Gento's just in Earth Garon now, going like, what the fuck? A chunk of moon gets separated. The kaiju is heading to Earth, but the moon is not going to land on Earth. The kaiju is heading towards it, and the Warhawk says, kill it. Knock it down. Jesus, this was a great episode. Just so good. And I think it's finally, like, it's not like, in my Kamen Rider reviews, I tend to go like, oh, Kamen Rider has, like, big theme and big idea. And, like, this series is not big theme, big idea. It's just more of like, hey, here's an underlying current of thought that is present within the show. And ultimately, it's all about sacrifice. You know? All these different characters have had moments of sacrifice, whether it's the Punch Girl, I can't remember her name right now, Punch Girl, and kind of sacrificing her idyllic village life for to go do what she wants, or the connection she had with the musician aliens who basically sacrificed their connection to their homeworld because they found beauty in art, or Gento sacrificing all the time he could have being a family man by doing what he thinks is right and important. Emmy's father sacrificing himself to obviously save people. The second in command sacrificing his relationship with his family because it's the right thing to do, and his family like understanding that to an extent and understanding like how much he sacrifices to protect them. And in the penultimate episode, we see just how much that sacrifice gets pushed to the limit of, will you die to save people? Are you willing to go on that kind of suicide mission? And it's great because it's like, we understand why they're making this choice. They understand why they're making this choice. But there's just a general blanket disregard for their life from the higher-ups. They're just cogs in the machine. But despite it all, they are willing to sacrifice themselves to help, to save others. And they were unified in that idea, in that front. The effects for this episode were great. I loved the whole fight on the moon. It was fantastic. And I loved Blazar doing as much as he can to save Gento, and how with no language you totally understand everything going on. It's beautiful, it's great. Also, just fuck that Warhawk guy. That Warhawk piece of shit was going all mysterious this whole show, and in this one he just finally reveals his true colors of, fuck it, blow it up. What a piece of shit. This was an amazing episode, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. It's the final episode of Ultraman Blazar, and that means it's also the final Blast Into Blazar. So just how will our heroes save the day? Well, first things first, they're up in space. Space. Going like, Jesus, that was a bad situation last episode. Let's grab Ultraman and get back to Earth. You know? Everybody starts sending missiles to the kaiju that is careening towards Earth, and it does nothing. It's still coming. As Emmy gets locked up in an empty office building, in an empty office room. The kaiju lands and legitimately kills people. Like, it's been implied this whole show, but we actually see people get lasered. Everything is going to crap. Earth Gyro on land. It is in bad need of repair. It's gonna take some time. Meanwhile, the kaiju is just rampaging and Gento is exhausted. As Gento, just being a good man his whole life, people just come to help and it's just like, hey, we want to help you. And everyone's just like, damn, you are just that good of a man, aren't you? And it's good, you know? It's that kind of thing. Gento's like, alright, I'm gonna go to the doctor and rest. He's lying. He's going to talk to Blazar and says like, hey, Blazar, the world's in trouble. This may be, the world may end. We need to step up. We need to do something. And Blazar goes like, yep, yeah, we do. Hold on, we're doing this together. And Blazar actually speaks for the first time. It's like, hell yeah. Right? And Gento just contacts Teraraki and says like, hey, I'm on bed rest. I'm not helping out today. You're in charge. And it's like, damn. But he's crying to himself. As he's, you know, like in Gento's mind, he's going like, I am putting my entire life on the line to protect everything I love. Like, this may, being Blazar this last time may kill me. Right? As everybody gears up for the final mission, as Blazar deploys and starts fighting the kaiju, while the V-99, the people who have been making these kaijus, shows up in near Earth's orbit, and they're all like, ah, shit, oh, fuck, it's an alien invasion, everything's going to shit. Earth Gyro and is ready to deploy. It's about to deploy as Emmy gets saved by the general guy. And he's like, hey, we got a world to save. Let's fucking go. Earth Garon and Ultraman are fighting off the bomb kaiju as Emmy and the general come up to the old man Warhawk guy and go like, alright, motherfucker. Here's what happened. You, years ago, destroyed one of their exploratory vehicles that had no weapons. As such, this is a retaliatory-based attack that they're doing right now. And we were able to use the technology we got from that crash to basically boost all of our machine. And they're going like, oh, wait a second, that means Earth Garon, you're kind of related to this. It's like, yes, this will be relevant in a few minutes. And it's just like, okay, we fucked up. We need to apologize and move forward. And the guy's going like, no, but what if they're gonna kill us? And it's like, it's that very paranoid, we did wrong, specifically he did wrong, I did wrong, and that means we will be punished, all these different kinds of things. And they're like, maybe if we just talk it out, we can forge a better future. And he's just like laughing and goes like, that'll never happen. But she's able to convince the people who are actually in charge right now, you know what? You're right. Let's turn off our cannons. All the while, Ultraman and Earth Garon are just trying their hardest to limit everything. People start believing the commanding officers like, yo, let's turn off our big laser missile things. Earth Garon don't no longer engage in combat to show our intention, talk to the aliens and all this different kind of stuff to try and open up a line of communication, while the old guy is the whole time just going like, nah, that'll never work. Eventually the aliens understand the level of the communication of, hey, we made a mistake, we want to fight for the future, we want the future. And the aliens are like, alright, hey, see you later. Bye. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting us know. Thanks for owning up to it. We don't meet these aliens. I am completely adding conjecture here, you know. But while the alien threat is gone, the giant kaiju is still there. So Ultraman and Earth Garon fucking team the fuck up. Badass moment to ram into the fucking kaiju. Big fucking fight. Big badass thing. And through the power of his love of his family with his wife and son, Ultraman Blazar is finally able to do one of those fucking Ultraman cross-arm beams and takes out the ultimate weapon kaiju guy. Earth Garon is fucking riggedy wrecked. Ultraman Blazar is like, yo, what's up? You're a good teammate. Earth Garon's like, yeah, we're good. And we get an epilogue of basically the old man going like, you know what? I was wrong. You're the future now, kid. You're what's gonna lead us, you know? I'm not, like, that kind of, like, I've held on power too long kind of thing. The crew just have a moment of like, hey, we all lived. Holy shit. I thought one of us was gonna die. Earth Garon's like, yeah, I'm still here. So it's very much kind of like the world continues. There's still gonna be kaiju. Scarred is still gonna have to deal with terrestrial kaijus. Oh yeah, by the way, that's all the bombs are defeated. All the kaijus that we ran into that we didn't like, that we like came to an understanding with, ate the bombs. That's it. Yeah, it's all good. And the final bit is Gento just walks into his house and his family welcomes him home, and it's very heartwarming and very sweet. What an amazing end to this goddamn show, and just really hammering in all the ideas present in it, you know, from communication, like actually talking and listening to each other, and not just trying to hide information or bolster or bluster or do anything like that. To actually trying to just talk to the aliens and go like, hey, yo, what's up? We didn't mean to do that. We're sorry. And the aliens go like, yo, cool. Peace. That's an alarm for 3 o'clock on my end. But actually talking to the old man got him to stop thinking with just his immediate gut and actually think through the problem. Also, they do sympathize with him. It's like, hey, dude, you were in a tough situation. You didn't know what was going on. You didn't see any other way to deal with the situation, so you took a choice. But it's time to just like own up to that wasn't the right choice, and so we need to make a new choice now, right? And there's also the communication between Gento and Blazar. Gento just like saying like, hey, I know you want to protect me, but I need to protect others. And Ultraman Blazar going like, you know what? You're my friend. I don't agree with you, but like, I'm with you to the end. It's good. It's good. There's also the whole aspect of teamwork, the whole crew just working together and just trusting each other, right? Like, this plan would everything only works because Gento trusts Teraraki so much, right? It only works because they trust Emi so much. They only trust because, like, they trust, I can't remember, of the only members of the crew I don't remember, they're the ones piloting Earthgaron. My poor memory. Fuck me. But also just everybody working together internationally of just going like, you know what? This young Japanese girl is right. We don't need to fight these aliens. Maybe there is a better way, and turning off their missile defenses. And like, I did notice, America was the last one to turn them off. You gotta get like, there, yeah. But the whole world turns off their missiles in like a show of like, we can work for a better future. And like, hey, of course there's the obvious teamwork of Blazar and Earthgaron just taking down that fucking kaiju, right? But there's also an element that that's very like impactful for me as a third tertiary theme that I've really noticed and picked up on is of sacrifice, right? Like, I talked about sacrifice a lot for the last episode, but Gento, he fully intends to sacrifice himself in this episode to save the Earth. He is like, yo, I am going to put everything on the line so I can protect my wife, my kid, the people I care about, the friends I've made, Earth itself. He is like, I am willing to die. And he's sad about it. He's not happy to die. But he's like, yo, if this is what it takes to save everyone, I will do it, right? And everyone is willing to sacrifice, like, for safety. Like, they're willing to take that chance, take that risk. And ultimately, there's an aspect of sacrificing one's ego and pride in order to help others fully. Gento feeling like he has to be I have to be Blazar. I have to protect everyone. And going like, no, wait a second. Maybe I can trust other people to help me out. Maybe I can trust my team to help me out. I can trust the world to move into a better situation where I don't have to put everything of myself on the line in order to protect everything, you know? And there's also the aspect of, like, the old man having to let go of his ego, right? Like, he made a choice years ago that has been affecting him ever since, and he's felt like he's had to cling to it being the right call. Like, he has to fully believe, like, I killed these aliens that did not have weapons. I had to have made the right call. It has to be the right call. We have to be, like, you know, all bottling all that up and just telling this guy, hey, you thought you were doing the best you could at the situation. You're not in that situation anymore. It is the next day and we can make a different choice. That doesn't mean the choice you made was right or wrong. It was just the choice you made. And like letting that go. It's like originally the idea of sacrifice was just like being willing to sacrifice all of yourself to protect others, but now it's also just like be willing to let go of harmful aspects of yourself in order to be a better person. Sacrifice that aspect, the idea that you have to be some kind of ultimate protector to be with your family, right? You don't have to just sacrifice your whole life for your family. You can just be there for like that kind of thing. Family is a big aspect too. It's just like the crew's becoming a family. Earth Garon becomes part of the family. Emmy like figures out what goes on with her dad and all this kind of stuff. And Gento's like an older brother figure, and of course Gento's family is ultimately what helps him save the day at the end with the giant laser beam. Remember, this is fun and goofy. I love how everyone has like a fun, cool moment. Emmy gets to be the very like impactful, dramatic moment. Gento, of course, has the Ultraman stuff. Earth Garon and all, like everybody has a great moment. All the effects for the show in general have been great, but for this episode specifically, lots of great angles with the miniatures, lots of great FX work. I love how the family is the reason for the laser beam. Like, I thought, like, yo, just having that cool, like, weird black hole spear thing has been dope. But having that laser beam just for, like, one moment of just, like, now he's a full Ultraman, right? That's fun. And this was, I feel like, a great introduction to me for Ultraman. Like, I'm excited for it. I like it. I enjoy it. I want to see more. But this itself was self-contained. It had a lot of great hype moments. And it was a pretty thought-out story, right? Everything had its place. Everything had its moments. It was really episodic. A lot more episodic than I was expecting. But ultimately, those episodic moments were informing us about the characters, informing us about the themes, and about what they were trying to say with this show. And overall, I really enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed Ultraman Blazar, and I hope you enjoyed Blast Into Blazar. And I hope to see you around.